You want a piece of me, boy?
Nuclear launch detected.
The Butchers, they're gonna come for the win, man. Actually, only 3 just charging. Guys, we said that we will all go at the same time.
They went full French, they went strike for a second, but finally gonna get in there. The 3 Mutas is completely useless, and GG gets called. Showtime.
He needs to fight with the entirety of this army. Now the Bailing hatches, and the surround comes in from Cyril. So many Bailings. The Storms are a little bit late to the party. Then Bailings will clear out most of the army, but the Phoenix is coming. Ravagers getting flown into the air. Corruptor is getting that fight against Phoenixes, but this army, this ground army, not gonna go down. From Showtime might have hit the perfect timing to take out Cyril. Oh, this is so close. He will have the recall. He will hug the wall, but gets the mothership core out. No recall for you, sir. And now you'll get fungled on a ramp against Broodlord with no anti-air. Double fungle. The Blink Stalkers actually make it out. That was a really cute Blink timing. Bring out the Zerglings. And now the Bailings coming from the south-south. Woo! Fireworks right there. 11 SCVs remaining for Hero Marine. Plus 3 Robo, 2 Stargates, 52 cannons, 23 pylons.
Go! Recall.
Instant recall!
Oh, he still loses it. Wow.
Oh!
It took 35 minutes, but there it is.
It's down!
Actually, the door. No!
The Bane's getting quite close to these Marines, but good stutter step micro there by Utermo. He's just showing up at this point.
Can maybe fall the cell. Oh, he will get it! Nice! Nice, can he finish the game here? Okay.
He's still gonna try.
It's the last shot, the last attempt probably from Nice. He tries to lift off the tank, not even trying. GG!
This is Utermo's moment. He's going to stim forward. He's going to come in from behind as well with a couple of Marauders, and he's going to clean up this Protoss army, and that is a massive loss for Showtime.
Those 7 tanks will defend themselves properly. Look at that blowback on the left side. One silly bile connects to the center tank.
He's going to jump on his army, right?
That's what he will do. And with this, probably qualifying Netherlands against Germany right there. Getting 3 Colossus of Void Ray and the Stalker against that random mine. Good job, Cole. Showtime.
Hello everybody and welcome to Nation War Season 4, brought to you by Blizzard and O Gaming. We can already hear the O Gaming crew in the back. They're ready for another day. Are you ready for another day,
Of course I'm ready. Funka just maybe a double espresso. Life couldn't be better, and we're about to get going with some good Starcraft once again to find out who between Finland, Taiwan and Germany will be our second country here making it out of this group, which was pretty stacked. The Netherlands kind of lucked out, and Uthermal played like a god, and he beat everybody.
Locked out?
Yeah.
He was a god, a literal madman. Utermo yesterday going 8-0 and 1. We even had a draw as well in a crazy PvT on Daybreak. But it was a phenomenal day, and obviously me as a Dutchie, I'm very, very pleased to see the
channel
Netherlands
is in our Marine Lords.
Yeah, I know.
Some might say.
And yes, in last year he was also pretty good already in Nation Wars. It was a glorious day to be a Dutchman, but today is also just a glorious day to be a Dutchman because we already advanced to the quarterfinals. And now we can just sit back and watch the rest of Group Germany unfold. We've got 2 amazing Nation Wars coming up for you. The very first one is going to be Finland versus Taiwan. And yes, that means that we are going to see some house madness. And the winner of this Nation War will go up against Germany.
Actually, yeah, it feels like it's really open. Like I would say the favorites probably Finland to win over Taiwan and then Germany to win over Finland. But We've seen players really carry their team, and Cyril is one of those guys that I think has been very impressive and definitely has the potential to do well here once again against Germany. They had a very close match earlier.
Yesterday, I think that Nation War lasted almost 3 hours in total. It was one of the longest Nation Wars I've ever seen, with that final game being incredibly cool between Cyril and Showtime. As always, we've got a little impression video for you guys ready as well to see what the casters had to say about the games that unfolded yesterday.
Germany against Finland saw a good start for Finland and a really back and forth matchup. Then Showtime started picking up wins.
Une rencontre extrêmement serrée qui s'est terminée à 3 partout sur un match décisif.
Il aura fallu 40 minutes, oui, pour finir la dernière partie.
Ça s'est joué à l'attrition. C'était une game de fou.
In which Cheryl, I think, was doing well, but Showtime's patience just was there, and it paid off in the end, and he picked up a solid win to bring Germany onto the winner's match.
Alors Taïwan contre Pays-Bas, on a vu tous les cheese possibles et imaginables de la part de Taïwan.
The Dutch know that cheese very, very well. Utomo was solid. One game was a draw, which was a little unnecessary, but other than that, it was a massacre, as the French would say.
As qui ne remporte pas son point et qui en plus de ça n'est pas revive. C'est Nice qui crée la surprise, notamment avec son draw contre Utermal.
Utermal s'attendait à des cheese, il a joué ultra safe sur toutes les maps.
Ils n'ont pas réussi à mettre de points, mais c'est parce que Thermal était vraiment chaud. Maintenant, c'est une équipe qu'on attend de revoir demain pour avoir un peu plus de has, évidemment. Troisième match de la journée, comment dire, on s'attendait tous à un match série entre deux des équipes favorites pour le tournoi.
And I expected this one to be really close, but Utomo just kept on doing what he did before, and that is dominate.
Uthermal wanted to make Germany pay for all the football matches that Germany won against them. He was just in a hurry, and he absolutely smashed everybody through his way.
And then, you know, once Utomo starts dropping, he's just everywhere at once. And it was action from start to finish, ever since that first drop started until the GG was called. Then Showtime tried his best one more time, and the game got awfully close at one point. But in the end, Utomo was able to get the all kill, which is sick. Netherlands going to the quarterfinals. Let's go. Always love watching these little videos. They're very well done. You know, Jon, I have 2 questions for you. The first one is there anything in life you hate more than me trying to speak French?
Yeah, I was going to correct you. Actually, it's Le Massacre.
Okay.
Not Le Massacre, but yeah, it sounds silly for sure.
I see your face. Like, you just facepalm every single time I make an attempt to speak French. And second, like, these French casters, they're crazy, right? Whenever they cast in French. And I was wondering, if you would have never started casting in English, but you would have been a French caster all along, do you think you would have been like them, like just shouting and crazy?
Maybe. I cast with them before, and like I kind of went into that mood where I was doing the same thing. Maybe not as good because I'm not super used to it. I think it does take some getting used to, but I guess it's that style. Who knows?
I will say it is very contagious, though, to be around these guys and just see them all lose their mind over and over again over every single match. And Friends is not even playing yet. They will be playing later this week, and that's when it always is madness over here.
The defending champs.
Yeah, for now. I mean, we've postponed the final, so you guys can hold on to the title a little longer. But I think even top 4 is going to be hard. If you guys end up second in your group, there is a chance for a Netherlands versus France in the quarterfinals.
Okay, well, you know what? You're the painful Euro, so we're just going to leave it at this.
Well, I mean, in the end, second place is the first loser, Todd.
Yeah, you know all about that, don't you?
Yeah, actually we do. Let's take a look at the players of our very first Nation War of the evening. It's going to be Team Finland. I think a very strong team overall, Johan. Welmu is always capable of winning. I think yesterday he had a very solid build order against Showtime. Just the execution wasn't there. He was a little too crazy, a little too YOLO. But I loved your cast and I loved your analysis of the game. Because I actually think even though Welmu's strategy was risky, I think in Phoenix versus Phoenix, it's okay to take that risk. And I think he had the right approach. But then he just overcommitted.
Yeah, and Showtime's patience seems to reward him a lot, even that last game against Cyril. So this time around, I guess, maybe he knew, in a way, that Welmu likes to take risk and would go forward. And then as soon as he called in him with the Phoenixes, he was going to do very well. But yes, Cyril Zhuge as well, players to look out for. Cyril in particular plays very well pretty much all the time in the last few Nation Wars. So definitely, I think Finland's going to be relying on him a lot. Zhuge, the sniper, man, beat TLO yesterday. He's usually the player they send out as first, so could have to play a big role here as well.
Yep, but even he is capable of causing upsets. We saw it yesterday against TLO, but even against the Hero Marine, or maybe in a crazy way against the Showtime if he does something absolutely out of the ordinary. Because as a player like Zhuge he will always have the execution to execute a certain build. And then if he has a little bit of Lady Luck on his side, he's capable of getting a very big win.
Fuser is there, so.
I think as soon as Nation Wars was announced, I think that's when Fuser started playing immediately a lot again. And I think one of his first tweets was, "I haven't played this game in a while. Dark Templars got Blink. What the hell is this?" You know, you can totally see Fuser saying that as well. They have Blink. Like, it's stupid. Take a look at the cheesiest team of them all, and I say that with a lot of love. It is Team Taiwan. Of course, we've got Haas. Of course, we've got Nice, who actually seems to be an excellent mini Haas. I mean, he's got some very, very solid cheeses himself. Even managed to get a draw yesterday.
Yeah, he was sent out as an ace player, actually, as a revive player, which
surprising.
I did not really expect, but he did show some good things. I wonder how he's going to do here against Finland. And Rex actually kind of tried to play macro, you know, made a lot of drones and stuff, and it just kind of died. He was like, "Oh, that's the last one I'm ever."
It's something you often see if a good player goes up against a better player. The good player often just invests too many of his resources into static defenses, right? That just doesn't really do a whole lot for him. Static defenses can be awesome, but players like Utermal, they will still be able to find an opening, and then you lose double. You lose in the investment of the static defenses, and you also end up losing a couple drones because you don't have enough units. And that's where it went down south for the team captain. But it was fun to see him play, and I'm excited, man, because I think PVT, I really think it's pretty difficult in this day and age to be very cheesy. Like, obviously, there are a couple of weird builds possible and weird timings you can hit. PVZ, however, Oracles, I think if you keep them alive, they're always good, and they kill workers very fast.
Yeah, they do, as we know. Has actually, like, we saw him against Terran yesterday, but I'm looking forward to maybe seeing him against Zerg here against Finland. They don't have any Terrans, so it's 2 Zerg and 1 Protoss. So I really hope that we see him against Zerg, because he's got a couple cheeky builds with a lot that involve a lot of oracles, which I'm really hoping we might see here. So without waiting any longer, I think the interview is ready. So let's go and hear from our captain with the interview area.
Hello everyone, and
Hello.
Thank you, Todd. Here we are at the interview area. I'm joined by the mythical Yogo with a great shirt. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm so high because yesterday we had like everything Starcraft 2 could offer, 3-minute game to 40-minute one, even a draw. With Taiwanese team, we will have some crazy stuff today.
Yeah,
again.
for sure. Yesterday was a really, really cool day. We had a lot of, as you mentioned, 4-0 quick games, but also the draw, the longest games ever at the same time. Yesterday was a really, really great day of Nation Wars. We hope we will have the same today with the losers match and the deciding match. First will be, as we mentioned before, Taiwan versus Finland, a really, really hard matchup for Taiwan. Even though they have all the cheese, it's going to be hard, right?
Especially if you didn't take a single game yesterday.
Yeah. But I mean, they were playing against Utermal yesterday. I don't know if Finland has the same. Maybe they will send Zhuge first. We will know after this interview. But we talked about it during the rehearsals. Who would we think that we win this game? And who's going to be sent out first by Finland is actually a really huge tell. Like, if you send Cyril, the 4-0 seems to be quite normal. But if you send Zhuge, I guess maybe he will die to Oracles, you know?
Yes, but he took his point yesterday.
He did. Yeah, we should not diss him, and especially because if they win today, if they qualify, I'm really looking forward to their ceremony. And I think Zhuge has the best ones ever, and I hope he knows how to set his camera straight this time. We should have the interview in a couple of moments, but I'm pretty sure it's not ready yet. It is ready, actually. It is ready, so guys, I think you are with us.
Yeah. Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, Rex. Whoa.
Well, Musabi is coming back.
This looks amazing.
Is Rex trying the same? Like yellow, black stuff?
There's a lot of yellow with Rex too. Are you trying to be a bee, Rex?
No.
It's
Lakers.
Is the Lakers?
I'm Lakers fan.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Lakers fan. Yeah.
Nice. The Lakers are really cool.
Yeah.
So, first question, Yogo?
Yeah, I wanted to ask a question to Welmu. Not speaking about today's match, but yesterday. Did you have words with Cyril after his 40-minute game? Did he have some regret, maybe?
I think he was a little bit frustrated. We talked a little bit after the game. I think he could have
it was very close, all of our games against Germany. And I think he could have won that game if he didn't do a few mistakes. But I think overall he played really good.
Yeah, it was a really close game. He probably had maybe opportunities to finish it off, but it was still a really cool game. One of the best ones of Nation was for sure. Rex, today you're facing against Finland. Yesterday it was hard against Netherlands. It was a 4-0. Do you think you can do better today against Finland? Is that something possible?
Yes, it's possible. Has told me he wants to go for all.
Oh, he wants to all kill?
Yes.
But
yes.
The question is, how many oracles? How much?
I don't know.
10?
Maybe we will figure out later.
Oh, okay. But a lot of oracles, I guess. By the way, same question for you too, Rex. How is it to practice with Haas and Nice as a Zerg player? Do you hate life?
I hate Haas because it's always cannon. Yeah, really hard, and no one practice like that on ladder. And Nice is just I don't know. Every time I practice with him, he just play bad. So I don't really think that much.
Okay.
Did you sometime got some macro game with him, or is it like 100% chess?
Oh, you play macro games? You play macro games against him?
Yes.
Okay. We would like to see that, but
maybe some carrier stuff, I guess.
Maybe carriers, or maybe you can do a macro game, but with a cannon rush at the beginning. Cannon rush and then macro game. Walmu, are you guys are you guys worried at all about, like, we were trolling a little bit, we were making jokes and everything about, Taiwan and their tendency to use a lot of cheese, but is this something that actually scares, like, somebody like Cyril, for instance, or even yourself?
Honestly, not really too much. If we will still play in HOTS, I think it will be more scary, but in Legacy it's easier to hold all stuff like this, so we are not too worried. I think the Haas is hoping he gets 4-0, but it's nice to have dreams, I guess.
Okay. So I think that sums it up a little bit. Can you tell me your prediction for the match, Walmu?
Sorry, what did you say?
What's your prediction for the match? How do you think it's going to
go? I think 4-1, to be honest, for us.
Okay. On Rex, your prediction?
Yeah, 4-0.
But this time you win.
This is us prediction.
Yeah, I win.
Yours.
I win. This time we will win.
Okay. This time you win. This time you're not saying that you will lose. That's good. That's good. You're getting better. I like it.
My teammates tell me to have more confidence. Yeah.
And there's a lot more confidence. That's because of the Lakers shirt, right? You feel good?
Yes.
Yeah, nice.
I feel good.
Okay, so Rex, who's going to be the first player? I guess first player? Haas. Okay.
Yes.
We knew that already.
Yes.
And Walmu, your first player?
Sugeliang.
Sugeliang. All right.
Once again.
Maybe some more. I can't remember the name, so that's okay. We're not going to talk about it. Thank you so much, guys, for answering our questions, and good luck. Have fun.
May the cheese be with you, I would say.
Good luck.
See
you. Good luck.
All right. This is looking really good. I can't wait to get those games started.
I'm just looking at tournament. Is playing this tournament? Is As playing?
Yeah.
It's so much fun, so I'm just hyped for this match.
All right,
Once
so
again.
casters, take it away. Taiwan, against Finland. Let's go.
Best interviews ever.
Yeah, I'm not sure where we can start. We can start with like the Lakers shirt giving confidence. I think the last time the Lakers won a game, we have to go back to the previous decade. Then obviously, I think a couple of the French.
Yeah, you always sported Netherlands football team shirts. It's the same thing, right?
We made it to the final in 2010. We made it to the semifinals in
6
2014.
years ago, mate.
Yeah, well, there's only 2 World Cups ever since. We made it to top 4 last World Cup. That's great. Let's take a look at the predictions. Of course, we're keeping the prediction game alive. Zombie Grub has joined us as well, so we've got her predictions too. She will be casting as well, I believe, in 2 games. Well, everyone is in agreement that this should be a relatively one-sided affair.
Yeah, I learned from my mistakes predicting Taiwan yesterday. Everybody thinks that Finland's going to win on different scores. Yeah, I could see have some success here. Starting with his first match against Zhuge Liang, it's they kind of throw him in there as a lab rat, and they're like, all right, let's see this guy experience, and it's going to be a little bit weird, Like we know about the potential for that Mass Oracle build from Has, but knowing about it feels like it's not enough. It feels like you kind of would need some practice against it. Zhuge Liang might be, freestyling against it, even if you brainstorm this kind of build, it's just so hard to play against it, right? If you haven't faced it before.
I feel like you remember the old school weight skills where you have two of these little balls and then you can put something in it and one side gets heavier. I feel like there's two sides and one has like cannons in it and the other one has oracles in it, and then he just looks at it and the one that dips, he's like, that's my build. Because I know we're going to see.
Don't you think he just takes both together and makes an Archon? And
he makes a cocktail.
Rush? Yeah.
It's going to be a very fun nationwide. That I'm very sure of. Let us know, of course, who you guys think is going to win. Yesterday, you guys were pretty much wrong all the time. So please show us that you do know something about StarCraft.
The majority was wrong.
Yeah. I mean, they kept voting against the Netherlands. And every single time I said something about it, the percentage of Netherlands win was just plummeting. Like in the end,
maybe that's why.
In the end, we had 28% or something. We were up 3-0. Like, it's ridiculous. These people are just trying to piss me off. But hashtag FinWin if you think Finland is going to win. Hashtag TWN win. I was like, how do you spell Thailand again? What's the abbreviation for Thailand? TWN. If you think Thailand...
They made this way
Taiwan.
Fonka. He infected you with this. Hashtag NW4 as well on Twitter. I don't know why they used 3 letters for countries. Usually it's 2, right? Like in the website addresses and stuff.
In website it's 2, but like if you watch the World Cup of football, they use 3 as well. But what they do is they use the 3 of the English way that you pronounce the nation, and here they actually use the local way. So Netherlands could have been like Le Pays-Bas or something, or however you guys say that.
Like father, like Zerg.
Oh, that's awesome.
This baby.
With a beer as well.
That was the French stream, I think.
I think that daughter was a little young to drink, but I don't know.
Is that another kid? How many kids are watching right now? We have to watch our language.
we always
show
do.
a good example.
When we're in a professional setting, Johan, I think we always watch our language. Keep the tweets coming, of course. Hashtag NW4. We want to know how you guys are watching Nationwide, and let us know who you're cheering for, who you think is going to win. The very first map is going to be Overgrowth. I don't think Overgrowth is necessarily the best map for Protoss versus Zerg Cheese. But then again, Todd, what do I know when we're looking at a man called Haas? Like, there's probably another way to cannon rush on this game.
Take out your notepads and your pen and start taking notes, because this is going to be good here. Haas. Really, we haven't ever seen him play standard macro. Every time he went into macro, that was like the ultimate trick where he was showing his opponent the cheese. But here we go. Starting at the bottom left-hand side of the map, playing as the red Protoss. It's, of course, from Taiwan. Haas.
We sent out a very early probe trying to block that hatchery, but that ain't gonna happen as our Finnish Zerg took an incredibly fast expand. He's spawning on the right top side. It is Zhuge Liang, the man of the legendary ceremony. We already see a gateway and a forge. I like
Zhuge Liang is very brave, opening hatch first against Haas. He's tempting the devil. So sometimes you mess with the bull, you get the horns.
How many pylons do you need to drop on this map to get a wall off, Todd? I know he did it on that ice map.
Not enough. That's the answer.
He doesn't have that much. Okay.
He's just going to put him in the corner.
All right, here we go. It didn't take long, guys. 1 minute and 27 seconds until Haas is going to do what he does best.
And Zhuge Liang is probably like, I knew it. Well, if you knew it, you would have had a drone down there, mate.
It's too late. He will never be able to get in there anymore. He could still potentially cancel.
He's just going to re-expand elsewhere and cancel, I guess.
But that's
2 cannons, by the way.
But that's when it gets risky, though, Jon, because that's when you start playing Haas's game, right? That's when the game starts getting weird.
I mean, I think last time I saw Haas do this, I was like, how many bases is he going to cannon? And I think he cannoned pretty much all of them. In this game, I don't think he will do that because he's mining gas right now. But who knows?
Do you think he can sneak Zerglings by 2 cannons? I don't think so, right? So I think this gold is probably going to get cannoned as well. I'm not sure about that hatchery on the low ground. But he may just cannon them all. Eventually, he needs a nexus,
Zhuge Liang is trying to out-expand the cannons. And Haas is going to try to out-cannon him.
He's going to get a 7 score. Is that a full wall up?
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, that gives us the idea that he wants to go for something. Could he just potentially go for a 1-base 4-gate, Johan?
He's going to cannon all bases, mate.
I don't think he's going to find the gold as well, by the way. Yep.
He's going to cannon all of them.
I love it. All right.
And Zhuge Liang can't even see the cannons going up on his extra base. Like, the one on the right-hand side right now. I think he has an Overlord nearby, but he's not flying that towards there. So there's a chance he lets that finish.
This is like a bad horror movie where you know there's someone standing behind the door, but you can't see it yet. You're still gonna go through the door.
Yeah.
That's why you hear the sound.
Zugeliang did the classic horror movie thing where, you know, you're stronger in groups, right? And there's always this one guy, he's like, oh, I'm gonna go check the control room. I think there's something there.
I believe the car is still running, guys. I'll be right back. Let me walk through the forest. Oh, there's a cannon! 3 roaches are on their way.
I love how there's a Stargate behind this as well. Like, he did this so many times that he knew he can afford this many cannons, a Zealot and a Stargate behind this.
And it's also important he gets a Stargate, otherwise he could straight up die against Roach Ravager at home, you know, because obviously in the old days we didn't have Ravagers, Zerg that is, so you could just run across the map.
Oh, he sends 2 probes as well to make sure he gets into the main, sees how much gas is being mined, and if there is any kind of lair on the way, which would mean a Nidus.
He's just gonna make a Void Ray. I think Void Ray or Oracle is probably good actually. Yeah, open up with an Oracle and then you can always make a Void Ray if you truly need it. But this hatchery is going to fall, and there is a very good chance that the hatch of the gold is falling as well. How many roaches are left in the natural? Ooh, can he keep the gold alive?
This is bad. Oh, actually, he was not looking on the gold base, and he's looking on. Yeah, a lot of those units have died. The Queen falls as well.
That Zealot helped out so much, by the way, Johan. Wow, Zugeliang is in trouble, man. He's down 6 workers. He's gonna lose all his bases.
I guess he's gonna actually, he probably wanted to buzz this with his other roaches from the natural, but that's gonna die anyway. And then now he has to retake his natural, but at the same time that Haz is taking his, and there is already 1 Oracle on the map. There's gonna be a whole lot more being made.
I don't think there's a single Spore Crawler in the main base. There may be a Queen. Yes, there is 1 Queen, but the Oracle could potentially take it out.
And
but if I was
skill workers very fast, don't they?
Yes, they do, Johan. And if I was him, I would just go for it. I wouldn't bother with the Queen, by the way. Look at the worker count; it's so low. So if you kill 5 drones here, that is massive, and you should always be able to get 5, if not more. Yes, 6. Zugeliang is in so much trouble, Todd. So much trouble. 15 drones, 1 base economy. Ouch.
Oh, of course, there's a probe in his main, the one that scouted earlier. It's a Hug probe.
I hope he gets cannons there too, Todd.
Just a cheeky pylon and a 7 adept walk-in eventually.
I mean, these roaches will be able to achieve absolutely nothing. There's Fulton Overcharge. Morphing them into Ravagers would be suicide. He doesn't have the money for it, and the Oracles would take care of it anyway. Zugeliang is forced to play a macro game from this point while being down 13 workers.
You know, actually, in the CKS, you mentioned the cannons in the main. Imagine if you actually went for it, but set up a trap secretly first. Imagine if you can set up a trap, stasis trap with the Oracles, like, or even 2 or 3, and then starts cannons.
Well, you talk about 3 Oracles. He already has 3 Oracles. He's going to be able to take care of a couple of these roaches. I believe Warpgate is already done. We're looking at a Protoss with 32 probes. And I think that Haas is going to do what Haas does best, and that is win very strange, very weird games. Sometimes very convincingly. 1 adept. Zugeliang is going to be like... I hope he doesn't reveal 1 adept. You should always go with 2.
He's going to wait, I'm pretty sure. Going to wait for a couple. And 2 more targets. It has begun. Do you think Haz rewatches these replays and he's like, yeah, standard game on Overgrowth. Went pretty well.
Nis is like, Nis is like running a little late. He's like, what happened? He's like, you know, the usual. Cannon the natural, cannon the fort, cannon the gold. He made a couple roaches, fell pretty far behind. Nis is like, nice. Nice, my man. That's a meeting of the Taiwanese Protoss.
With how far Zugeliang is behind, okay, this is even going to kill a couple drones there.
Yeah, at least 4,
I think Haz makes a bunch of Oracles, starts flying into those bases, and you can have a couple Spores and Queens. Oracles kill everything super fast.
Yep, I mean, having 2 or 3 Queens is nice, but if it's like 6, 7 Oracles and 1 Spore and 2 Queens is not going to be enough anymore. There we do have those 4 drones indeed dying.
23 drones to 41 probes. Only Moman could win that game.
it's painful. He could actually end up, well, I wouldn't say a good go for the hatchery, but he doesn't have to, and it's better to just get even more Oracles.
What did he break to get out? I guess the pylon?
With everything. The pylon has been found in the main base of Zugeliang. Very painful game, obviously, for the Finnish Zerg. And we're already looking at a minor upset over here, Todd. I mean, I know a lot of people probably say, like, no, this is not an upset. I think overall it is, because I think if these 2 players play against each other 10 times, I think eventually Zugeliang should figure it out. But this time,
really,
Todd...
I would say Haz is favored against Zugeliang.
Maybe. I mean...
People underestimate Haz, man. You need to understand the power and start preaching.
Look at these devs doing some serious work. 5 more drones falling. Haas is up at 21 workers. 3 Oracles at once are being built. A fourth? No, that's a
How
fifth
many is he going to go
Stargate.
with? Do you think he goes with the next 3?
He's going to go with 11, Todd.
I love how he's not even chrono boosting.
He's giving his fan a cheeky call right now in China. He's like, "You watching?" And the guy's like, "No, man, it's like 4 a.m. over here." He's
Your
like,
jaw's going to drop off
Yeah,
this one.
he's
The guy's
like-
like, yeah, it does every time.
It's like, "Turn on Twitch right now." And he's like, "All right." And he's like, "Oh, my senpai Haas, you've done it again." This is ridiculous.
Oh, here we go. Merry Christmas.
Oh, poor Zhuge. I think he's gonna leave soon, Todd. I think he's had enough. All these spores are gonna die as well. The queens are gonna be showing up. That's actually not enough queens. The queens are gonna lose this battle. There's not that much transfuse left anymore either. Good micro by Haas. One Oracle will finally fall. Maybe one more will go down. But not before all these queens die. And I think with that, Zhuge has died as well. 36 supply against 93. And this is a real Haas show, baby.
And he's taking a 3rd in the meantime. The funny thing about this is like most Protosses as well, they would just go carrier, stay up with all the stasis drive. No. Haas does not stop making oracles, and GG is finally called. He takes the first map win here for Taiwan, and Finland will have to send out Whelmu or Cyril.
Zhuge thought he was smart by sending out one of his very first drones, not getting the Overlord before the hatch, but just getting the hatch immediately, so the hatchery cannot be blocked.
Yeah.
But in the end, that idea backfired very quickly. Haas is like, nice, late circlings, that means I can cannon the entire map.
You know, I would go as far as saying that he has a decent chance at beating Cyril.
Yeah, I mean, I think if he plays very normal, I think if he goes Nexus first and he tries to go up to 3 bases at the 4-minute 45-second mark, I think he's super dead. But if he plays his type of game, the chance is alive. And even against Whelmu, like, I definitely see Whelmu as the favorite against Haas, but PvP can be very weird. And I think that's a matchup where Haas will definitely have at least the potential to shine, because PvP can be a tricky matchup.
Yeah, definitely. Whelmu, though, definitely one of the OGs of the European scene in terms of playing aggressive and kind of cheesing himself in PvP. He's not afraid to take risks, so it's going to be a gambler against degenerate in that one,
So
if it happens.
So who do you think? I actually have no idea. I think I would send Cyril, right?
Probably, yeah, Cyril. Well, actually, I guess he's pretty even. Whelmu would make sense as well. Like, if you think of the players that are left.
Whelmu said that it's not very hard to hold any sort of weird cheese in Legacy, so maybe it is Whelmu, actually.
Yeah, probably
I think,
Whelmu.
Yeah, I think Whelmu makes sense. You're right. No.
And Cyril, okay.
Damn it.
Wants to try his
Always
luck now.
stick with your guts, guys. That first instinct. You know, I tried to get carried away by Johan, and this is where I end up looking silly again.
No, I think it makes sense. Like, Cyril definitely would be the player that they revive as well, so just send him out now. Whelmu may be a little bit worried of having someone get their map selection later, if it's like Rex or something in a PvZ. And
yeah,
I don't know how, like, Whelmu has always been very confident about PvP, but it has a nice, like, how confident can you be? I think the best thing to do against those type of players is legitimately open up double gas defensive Stargate, because I think one all-in that's very hard to hold is the proxy robo one. I think that's a very dangerous one, and I think Stargate just shuts it down incredibly hard. And if you have Stargate, you will not lose that many workers against an Oracle. The only risk you could say is maybe losing a Phoenix against Phoenix battle. But I'd say, like, rather safe than sorry, right? When you play PvP like, against those people. The thing, though, about Nice and Has is that, like, a lot of players, they do these all-ins, but, like, they don't do it. They don't use them to the best of their potential, right? Whereas these two, since it's mostly what they do, they really do those super well. Like, when I played Nice on the Korean ladder recently, like, I was like, okay, well, how do I even hold this? Like, you know, like, just Adept, War Prism, and Immortals. Like, I made pylons up my ramp, and I was like, I'm just going to counterattack with some units, and I'll be fine at home with Force Field and overcharges. He made a prism, dropped everything on top of my ramp. The pylons imploded, and I was like, okay, I guess I'm dead. Like, yeah, I think obviously being cheesy and having aggressive builds is one part of their strength, but I also think being able to deceive their opponents and trick them, I think that's an even bigger strength, right? They often will make it seem like one thing is happening, but then actually a different thing is happening. And I think that makes them incredibly tricky to go up against. Because if you know a certain cheese is coming, there's always an answer. Like, it can be very tricky, it can be very hard to hold with certain builds, but there is an answer. But these guys, they're so good in hiding what they actually want to do that by the time you've got it figured out, it's often too late already. And that's why PvP can be very risky. Glad I took a break from work for this. Has doing what it does best. It did most certainly do that. You guys should include maybe sometimes yourself, like if you take a photo of you or with a big TV, you could actually see how big it is. Like, that would be cool. Has come. What is he playing on the left? Did you see that? Wasn't that a stream or something?
Well, no, I think it looked like in-game. I don't know. I mean, on the right was definitely a stream. First tweet was from Joe, by the way. Shout out to him. Very passionate member of the North American community scene, BALF. Organized a couple of tournaments in Philadelphia, most notably the Cheeseadelphia. Very clever. And obviously very appropriate as well when we're casting Haas. Man, if Haas could only make it to Cheeseadelphia one day. Let's fundraise this baby. Like, I want to see that happen. That would be amazing. He's gonna ace that tournament, Todd. He won't drop a map.
Well, what's the food like there? Only cheesesteaks?
Yeah, cheesesteaks.
Yeah?
You know how
Really?
Well, not only, but they've got some very, very good ones.
Did you see the percentages, by the way? Like,
it's like 65%.
Yeah, people have some serious bias for Haas, and I mean, rightfully so. The guy's a superstar, but I don't know how realistic this is. Like,
well, it's just internet points.
It's just like a meme vote, basically.
Yeah, no. I mean, yesterday we saw it, right? Like, I told the people over and over again, vote for the Netherlands. And the more I told them, the less they voted. Now, obviously, I know that Germany's outnumbering us most of the time in viewers. And obviously, the Germans will have bias towards their own country. And they're mostly wrong. I understand that. Just like Dario is wrong most of the time. But, you know, the Netherlands was an underdog against Taiwan as well. Hey, man, let us have our moment. I can't wait for those semifinals. Netherlands, maybe. Quarterfinals against USA. I'd be down for that. That would be great. Daybreak is going to be our map, Johan. PVZ on Daybreak. It's a real classic.
Yeah. Not too surprised. Like, Cyril is just a beast on this map, really. So, looking forward to seeing how he can do it. He beats Showtime yesterday on this, right?
Utomo beat Showtime on this one. I think Cyril... Didn't Cyril win on Echo?
Oh, yeah, you won an Echo.
Yeah.
Did they play Daybreak then? It's always so blurry for me. Like, I don't know.
No, they played Whirlwind. The first one was on Whirlwind, cross map,
and
and then we had Echo, and then the decider was obviously the crazy game on Nuker.
Yeah.
Alrighty, Johan. Here we go. Game 2 of Taiwan versus Finland.
Starting in the top right-hand side, already sending a probe across the map. It's, of course, Haas. Forger Gate.
Spotting on the left bottom side, representing Finland. He's their ace player, he's their star. He was fantastic in Nation War Season 3 and he looked very good yesterday, but it wasn't enough. Will it be enough today? It is Cyril. An absolute beast right now on the European ladder. I believe he's currently ranked 1 and 2 or something like that. Ranked 2 and 3 among those lines. 7k MMR, Todd. It's not even in the same ballpark as me anymore.
It's only 1,500 points for me.
Yeah, well, it's roughly the same for me. And that feels bad, man. Like, think about the difference between 5,500 and 4,000. Like, that is that's the difference between us and Cyril. Yeah. That hurts, man. Like,
I was talking about this actually with Artosis earlier because like Innovation has like a sick MMR on Korea and he just like destroys these Zergs all day, like Su, Bill and stuff. I was like, can you imagine like being one of the world's best player and then you queue ladder every night and then you meet this guy that you just can't beat and that just destroys you the whole time. It must be kind of depressing and discouraging, I have to say.
It's it is weird. Just like Cyril did not bother with that probe that was blocking his hatchery, so he decided to expand a little further up toward north. So far everything looks awfully normal on the side of Haas. What's going on?
I mean, like, Cyril opened pool first, so he chose to play it safe. If he had gone for hatch first, I'm pretty sure Haas would have dropped one more of these forges and cannoned it, but that would have been, actually, that would be the ultimate challenge. I feel like some Zergs would be crazy enough to go for hatch first and be like, you know what, I'm going to try to defend the cannon rush, because why not? Send some drones down the ramp. If you pull it off, you're going to be very far ahead.
Twilight, maybe? Cheeky Twilight opening, or is it going to be a 1-gate start? Temporarily a 2nd gate. I think that's mostly just because he wanted to make sure that he didn't have to worry about these links. That's actually a little bit risky, because now these links could potentially go in. Cyril was kind of indecisive there. I felt like Cyril could have just either gone in, or he could have gone for the pylon. Perhaps he could still get it though, but I think it's going to be very hard. Good micro so far on both sides.
Yeah, I think in particular Haas like quite fearless here. Went in there. Did you think that was it? And actually, no third hatchery has started yet. Cyril is still mining quite a bit of gas, so maybe Nemotai Scarpace here to make sure he can scout. But I mean, he already saw the Stargate. He really wouldn't need that.
That was very cute, by the way, when he was trying to hide it behind that light. Or what is it? Well, I thought it was a light there for some reason.
It's a drill, mate.
But it's like when you're young. Ooh, seems like we have a little bit of a lag spike. No, it's Cyril. That's somebody we actually do need to continue this game. That's like when you were in elementary school, Todd, and you used the tactics, if I can see you, you can see me. and you hide behind a tree, but then you realize that you're chubby and they still see you. It still hurts.
You played hide and seek?
Yeah, of course. It was awesome. I was not very good at it.
I don't know, we just had like a prison-style yard where you can see everybody and there is no tree, so...
That sounds sad. Man. What did you do?
I played... for a while, I forgot the name, but there was maybe... Actually, I don't remember, but like something you hit and then it flips around or not. I was sick, actually. And then like you basically... You play it, and then if you win, you get to keep the other guys. And I had so many. But sometimes... I was really been unlucky. I had an unlucky streak, then I lost a lot of them. There was also Dragon Ball Z card as well. They were like this as well, that you would have to play and flip and stuff.
Yeah, no, we would throw them to the wall. Like we would have like the nice Pokemon cards, but you don't throw them. You use like the doubles and the energy cards, and then you would flip them to the wall, and the one that lands close to the wall wins the other person's card. And like I made kids cry because I took their Charizard, and then their mom came to school and they're like, "You have to give it back." And my mom was like, "No, he lost it."
You won it fair and square.
Yeah. It was awesome. Childhood memories.
If you want, your son can have a rematch.
Double or nothing. What has ever gone wrong with that strategy? So we just have to wait and make sure that Sero is here to continue the game, or perhaps we're going to have to rehost it real quick. I mean, the game was already shaping up a little bit. We saw the build order, obviously. So I think it would be worth to just rehost this one and not completely redo it.
What did you do in gym class at school?
A little bit of everything. They tried to make us play all the sports. Like we even played some baseball and handball and like field hockey. But nobody in my elementary or high school cared about anything else other than football. Like if we played football, everybody was that serious and they tried to win. Every other sport, we were just kind of dunking around.
I remember this one year we had a coach that was like trying to like make us do different things. He was like, "Yeah, you're gonna do like track and field or whatever. Then you're gonna do this." We even did the thing, pétanque is like a ball like this that you roll and it has to land very close to a small one and stuff. It's like from south of France and stuff. So we did this for a little bit. And then like everybody was such knuckleheads and they didn't care that he was like, "All right, screw it." For the rest of the year, he just gave us a football. He's like, "Have fun," and then he vanished. Sickest sport teacher.
Eventually, Haas will run out of cannons. No, that sounds very familiar, and I think that goes for a lot of Western. It's very funny as well as Americans hear that. They think that's so weird, right? Because in America, it's probably like, "Oh, we have to play soccer today. Like, we don't want to play soccer. Let us play baseball or American football." But I think in all the European Western schools, it's like, football, yay! Every other sport is like,
how fun this game is when you play it?
Yeah.
So fun.
I don't think... I mean, every now and then we did have to run. You know, you have to do like the regular test and you have to clock a certain time. But after that, you could still play football, so everybody was happy. Like, even if we hated the running part, it's like, we can do football afterwards.
If only we could have played video games. We were born a few decades too early. I remember I tried to install Broad War in my physics class one time. It didn't. The PCs were so bad.
I played Warcraft 3 during my IT college little education. I didn't do very well. Did do better in Warcraft though. I actually got one of my friends into Warcraft that was in the class. He's like, "Man, that game that you play seems really fun." And he started playing it too. And he actually got really good within an X amount of time. I was very impressed. For a noob, he understood the game very fast.
Really good for your level?
Yeah, I know. Like my teacher was like, "Kevin, are you playing Warcraft again?" I was like, "No." I was like, Alt F4. Oh yeah. No, sometimes I do wonder how life would be if you would grow up right now. That would be so crazy with, all the online gaming. Talk about online gaming with your friends all the time. Back then, you had to invite friends over to play Mario Kart or something. It's like Dynasty Warriors.
We actually had to be social.
Yeah, I was forced. It's like I
had to clean our house a little bit because there were guests coming over.
It's like Melee. I used to think I was very good in Super Smash Bros. Melee. Like I was like the best in my neighborhood, but we played with items, and I used to just throw baseball bats all the time, And then like I met people from other esports, and like, "You play Melee?" I was like, "Yeah." And then I was like, "Hey, this Melee sucks. Like you guys play without items." They're like, "Yeah, everyone plays without items." I was like, "No, not in my neighborhood. We play with all the items."
Yeah. What was the best console game that was multi?
Duke Nukem or GoldenEye.
GoldenEye.
Yeah.
Negative. I was going to say negative. That's GoldenEye for sure. Like
GoldenEye
was the sickest.
It was sick, but I really enjoyed Duke Nukem 64 with the explosive shotgun shells. Not many people played it, but I think it's very underrated. It was super fun. And little jetpacks and stuff. It was a fantastic game.
Man.
GoldenEye was great.
I never finished this game.
Meaning, no, the last few levels was super hard.
Yeah, the level where you're like on a bunch of...
in the pyramids, right? Like
no.
With Jaws as well.
I think it's like you're up in the air on some kind of platform.
That one is not that hard, I think. That's like the final level of the movie, right? Yeah, no, I know which one you mean.
I never passed this one.
Oh, no, I did pass that one. But the one in the
sickest.
pyramid gets super hard.
But it was like a high difficulty, I think, or something like that I tried. Because like you could get some rewards. I forgot what it was. I was so rustled.
You could play like Oddjob and Jaws in multiplayer.
Yeah. And I remember actually back then there was no help either, right?
Yeah.
Like you couldn't go on a website and be like, how do I beat this round? And then read everything about it.
You had to go to a store and you had to buy like one of these thick books about the game that costed like 22 gulden. It's like, damn it, man, this is a ripoff. The game is already so expensive. Now I'm going to buy this massive book as well. This walkthrough, they were called. And then some people said, oh, that's cheating. We're just waiting. We don't have any updates. Maybe our producer could give us some updates for the viewer. One is like, God, guys, I'm here to watch some Starcraft. I really don't care about your childhood games. Then again, we were all gamers when we were young. So.
I think a lot of people will probably relate, actually. Like everybody, or a lot of people played like this console games.
I always feel that like a lot of people have the same games in common, you know, like the Golden Knights, but then everyone has their own game that they played a lot that is not necessarily played a lot, you know, across the board among people from our generation. And yeah, Duke Nukem was that game for me.
Battletoads.
Yeah, no, he's a god in it. What else was good? I mean, a lot of people loved Gran Turismo. Oh, we got some tweets again. Hashtag NW4, guys. Keep the tweets coming, especially on a moment like this while we're waiting for Cero. Keep up the good work, lads. Thought rather than players. Hashtag 50 inches. It was 42 when I checked last time.
Borsty, guess I arrived just in time. After all, look at that hatchery being cancelled. Imagine you tune in and you see that. You're like, without even seeing who's playing, you're like, yeah, probably has.
It's a bailing. And a Wale. Well, look at that cute little setup. He's got a pylon, and he even showed the TV as well, Todd. He listened to you. That's more than I can ever say.
That it didn't look intentional. Like there was a guy behind the TV.
Yeah. It's a sneak peek.
That was a cool setup, though. The Moman Wally button. I wonder. Do you think Moman makes any money from these things? Probably not, right?
If he would have,
imagine if he got 1 cent for every button.
I love how the entire gaming crew is like, nah, like Moman is not smart enough to trademark anything.
To copyright anything.
Yeah, Moman is sitting at home right now. He's like, man, I should have. Like, that was my opportunity. He's like, all around the world,
He's
people
like, just enjoy the Wally.
That's
I
funny.
miss Moman actually. Like we had some of the best laughs.
You know, he was here before.
Yeah,
and he was in a couple of the highlight videos as well, in the impressions, but he hasn't shown up yet. Ever since we continued the show, I'm sure he'll make an appearance, especially when friends plays, right? Like most of the time when friends plays.
We need someone to pop the champagne and make people really rustle downstairs because they got their clothes wet.
I mean, if you turn your flag, you know, from the right to, you know, you turn it not really upside down, but you just like really 90 degrees, then there is a good chance you can pop the champagne bottle after all.
You realize France won the last nation was, right?
Yeah, it was well deserved.
And Netherlands only in top 8 right now, like.
Yeah, well, top 8. So like the quarterfinals doesn't even matter. This have already been played out. Who's going to stop us?
Oh, man.
I'm actually going to buy, I should get a Dutch jersey. I mean, since I can't wear it for our football team, since they never win anything, I'm just going to buy it and show up with it.
You know, I hope Netherlands meets USA.
No,
and then Nathaniel wins the map and then Neeb finishes.
All right, guys. I just heard from our producer that we actually have to head to a very small break. So
I think they got fed up with our console talk.
Yeah. So they've had enough. They're like, guys, you've promoted 74 games that were not Blizzard games right now. We're losing our contract. Cut them off. No, we're gonna head to a very small break, and after that, we'll be back with Cero versus Haas. It should be roughly 2 minutes. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to the StarCraft 2 Nation War Season 4, where we are currently casting Taiwan versus Finland. Everything was according to plan, or going according to plan, when we had cannons and oracles killing everything in the first game. Cero was supposed to be our second player. We loaded into the game. Cero disconnected. Normally not an issue, because, you know, players disconnect every now and then. We rehost, we continue the action, but there seems to be a bigger issue with the connection of Cero, and he seems like he is not able to reconnect, at least not for now. Now, I don't know the rules exactly out of my head, Johan, but I do know that players have X amount of time to still show up. And if they don't make it within that time, which I believe is roughly 10 minutes.
No, 15, yeah.
15?
Yeah.
So 15 minutes it is. Then it's actually going to be a default win for Taiwan. And I believe that we have passed that mark. So that does sadden me a little bit. And that suddenly makes this a very weird and interesting nation war, where Taiwan has taken a 2-0 lead over Finland. And you could say all hope is on Wellmu for now, because imagine if Wellmu loses a close game and Cero is still not back.
Yeah, well, then he would have to, I guess, be revived one more time, and then Taiwan would be on match point. It would be very hard for anybody to come back and all kill, especially if it's not Cyril, I think. So hopefully he can sort out these internet issues and he'll be back. But for now, it's going to be Wellmu going up against Has momentarily, a PvP between these two. Pretty excited about this one. Should be good.
Yeah, we do apologize, obviously, guys, for the inconvenience, for the delay, and obviously for, you know, not being able to show you guys a great game on Daybreak. Obviously not the way that we would like to see it, but the show must go on, Todd. You could almost say that there is someone called It's Showtime that has to play later today as well. And we can't wait forever. He's probably very eager as well to avenge himself from last night. Obviously, Germany will be in action later. So we apologize, but we got to move on. And hopefully this is going to be still a very fun Nation War. Because I do think that Wellmu has, especially with 2 lives, let's say like Cyril is done for the night. You know, let's just say his internet cables, his mom cut him, played too many video games, you know. They just found the report card and it was nothing but D minuses. And it's like, all right, Cyril, you're done. They cut the cable. I think even if that would be the case, which I truly hope it's not, by the way, and Cyril's a very smart kid, so I'm sure it's nothing but straight A's. I still think that Wellmu with 2 lives can do it here for Finland.
Yeah, I mean, Wellmu's very good. He should not be underestimated. What were your grades like, actually, when you were in school and you started playing a lot of video games?
I was incredibly good in certain subjects and incredibly bad in others.
Okay, which ones were you good in? Which
geography, English to some degree, and I was by far the best of my entire age. You know, there were 3 classes of my age in history. I had a lot of passion for history. I found it very fascinating. Even when it wasn't for school, I was randomly reading books about the Second World War and stuff, and I never read anything, you know, never anything else other than reading about First, Second World War. So I was very good at it. But I was very bad in math, actually. As soon as it wasn't basic math anymore, as soon as it got a little bit more complicated.
Even off stream, huh?
Yep, and just any sort of science, I was incredibly bad. And I was also terrible in German.
You can speak some, I thought. Anyway, in the bottom side of the map here, playing as the Red Protoss is Has. Yeah, my players going for an early scout here on this map. I talked about it yesterday.
My German got a lot better by the time I didn't need it anymore for school. Over here on the top side of Vani Research Station, we're looking at the main base of Wellmu.
So we saw Phoenixes against Phoenixes yesterday on this map, and the reason both players scout so early and go for a wall is just because it's so easy to expand behind this, go for a perfect wall, and then make sure you're safe against any kind of adepts. And just target is very strong altogether, especially like, you know, the rush distance is kind of long, but air units are pretty fast with the Phoenixes. Actually, the Void Race as well, like, got a little bit of a boost, but we don't really see them in PvP.
Void Race are just terrible against Phoenix, right?
Where would it be from?
Sorry?
If we were to see Void Race, where would it be from? It would be from Has for sure. Nah, probably not.
It would be hard. I think there are some moments where you can maybe go for some sort of a weird Void Ray Immortal attack, like an old map like Dasan Station, for instance, right? Like I think on stuff like that, I still don't think it's incredibly good, but you can catch your opponent off guard. But any map where the bases are pretty far away from each other, Void Rays in general just don't cut it. They're not good enough to rush with, and they're definitely not good enough to go super late game, because Storm, Archons, and obviously in the mid phase, Phoenixes are all incredibly good against them. But I do like the Phoenix's start on this map. I'm with you. I'm a big Phoenix man myself.
It's funny that Wellmu played a PvP on Vani yesterday, and now here he is again. This time against Has.
Yeah, it must be scary. I mean, he definitely feels the pressure now as well. Now, obviously, there is a good chance that Saro's internet will maybe repair itself during this game or within, let's say, 20-30 minutes or maybe 1 hour. So we can still see Saro in action against Germany. Because as much as I love Fuser, I give Finland a much better chance against Germany with Cyril than I give them with Fuser.
And the Stargate is on the way for both players. Much earlier one from Has, who actually didn't even go for a wall-off. Cheeky block there is going to be removed with an overcharge. The pylon wars, man.
Do you feel like Has has been watching the game that Wellmu played yesterday?
Sort of range.
Against Showtime? Because it kind of feels like it, right? It's a mirror image of Wellmu against Showtime yesterday. Even the positioning of this target of Haas is exactly... Well, actually no wall-off. There's no pylon over there. That could potentially kill 1 or 2 probes. Definitely 1. Might be able to get a second one as well. Depends on the micro of Haas, and it's not good enough. Ends up losing 2 workers.
It's non-existent.
Aww.
He literally didn't even try to move that.
He
was like, yep, that's to probe that.
But I mean, the things that matter the most in this game are actually going quite well for Haas, Todd. That first Phoenix is 12, 13 seconds ahead. He's already dropping a second Stargate very quickly, by the way. And his Nexus is a solid 25 to 30 seconds ahead as well. I actually love the position of Haas. Like, I think things are shaping up very, very well for him, as long as he doesn't just sacrifice his first Phoenix, but that should never happen.
I mean, Phoenix versus Phoenix is a really, really tricky way to play PvP, and Haas is kind of the master of trickiness, so he's definitely going to embrace the chaos here and kind of know exactly where to go from there. Keep in mind, Haas practices on the Korean ladder, and I think that a lot of players on the Korean ladder, they fully accept that in PvP on this map, Phoenixes are popular, so they definitely go into it. In Europe, it's probably kind of the same, but I felt like before when I played on the European server, a lot more players were kind of shy to go into Phoenixes, even on maps like this where it's very good, and some of them would try different stuff, go for Blink Stalkers, Opener, just kind of play safe.
No, you're correct. I think it took a while, but I've seen it a little more often lately as well, and I was seeing it in Nation Wars Season 4 as well, between two top European Protoss like Wellmo and Showtime. Gives me the idea that more and more of the European Protoss is starting to love Phoenixes in this map as well, and it makes perfect sense to me, Todd. I think Phoenixes are great. You don't really have any... you're not in danger of dying against any sort of two-base attack.
I mean, think about it. Like, you would have air control, you could be able to fly everywhere, see everything, and then how does the opponent defend? Because the two bases are very far apart, so usually you would set your Stalkers to defend one of the bases and overcharge with the Mothership Core on the other one. But that base, you could still go around with the Phoenixes and pick up some probes and snipe them.
I think that Haas has been chrono boosting out Phoenixes a little bit more. Can we take a look at the Phoenix count? Wow, Wellmo's sneaking in another Adept. That's nice, especially because Haas was already down quite a few workers, and being down 3 or 4 probes I don't think is that bad. Being down 6 or 7 or even more than that, that's why it gets a little bit ugly. What's the Phoenix?
All of those Phoenixes back here from Haas.
I think Haas should try to force a fight soon.
Yeah, Wellmo has way more workers.
Yeah, because I think Wellmo was chrono boosting workers for a little bit, while Haas has only been chrono boosting Phoenixes, and obviously that one Adept killed 2 workers, but it's strange because the expand was actually a little bit faster for
Wellmo
Haas.
is the one with the info here, so like, he's the one who went across the map, flew, saw the double Stargate, saw kind of the Phoenix count, and now he goes for the Fleet Beacon, whereas Haas, he's definitely not going for the Fleet Beacon. He's going to roll the dice, go for a 3rd Stargate.
And this should really be the moment, I think, for Haas. He has slightly, I believe, still a minor advantage in Phoenixes. What he could do is maybe stack them and try to get a one-shot off. Maybe pick one Phoenix off that pops out of this Stargate. That would be a massive pick-off. He gets a couple of shots off, doesn't get a Phoenix. Wellmo's not paying attention there, yo. Losing one Phoenix is already so big.
You don't want to chase too far either there. I'm surprised actually it took so long to react as well, because like when somebody goes like this in your probe line, he's obviously going to be keep picking up units. You're supposed to kind of dive in there, but you want to be cautious at the same time, like obviously.
I do like that move from Haas. He's sharking around trying to pick off one Phoenix that just pops immediately.
And Iron Pulse Crystals, I really feel like in this game, if Wellmo plays it right, doesn't completely dive in his opponent's base like he did yesterday against Showtime, he should be able to do well. But I mean, he probably can guess, right? Even if he hadn't seen it, I probably saw it. But even when he hadn't seen it, so he knows, he fully knows. I think he might try to overwhelm with just more Phoenixes. Yeah, he's actually going to move right in there. Overcharge being used, but he doesn't care. He's going to try to trade against those Phoenixes.
Actually, he did pretty decent there. Kept most of his own Phoenixes alive. 1 photon overcharge, I think, is something that he could survive, but 2 is definitely way too much. He's going to lift the Stargate. That's a risky move. He's going to lift that probe as well. Yes, he does.
Iron Pulse Crystals is now finished for Wellmo. If he gets the perfect micro stay so far, doesn't lose too many Phoenixes, he's going to be able to trade very well with those Phoenixes of Haas.
And I like this. He's going to be able to snipe one immediately. Well done, Wellmo. All that Wellmo needs to do is make sure that he knows where these Phoenixes of Haas are, and then he can just micro. He has so much more micro potential.
And Haas is kind of trapped there.
Yeah.
He's going to get chased down, cornered.
Photon overcharge. I think
he starts the Twilight Council, but he's in the wall of trouble. Wellmo. Can he do this here? Can he trade very well against those Phoenixes? He needs to micro his Phoenix Flower a little bit better.
No, I think he's doing it well though. Well, okay, that's a little bit risky. Small. Well, actually, that's an overcommitment of Wellmo. I still think he's going to win the fight quite easily, but a little bit risky.
He started shooting earlier, you know, that 2 range.
Yeah.
I love how these Phoenixes are AFK as well. Like.
We all know how incredibly difficult it is. A lot of people in the low leagues often ask, like, yeah, you know, why don't you just transition, you know? Why don't you make a couple Stalkers? Well, because if your opponent already has this many Phoenixes, by the time that you can transition, every Stalker is not only going to get picked up.
Sick.
Yeah, you're going to lose a gazillion amount of workers as well. Dark Shrine is a decent answer, but the robotics facility is already being wiped in. All these Phoenixes from Haas are going to die, and this is obviously a massive victory for Welmu.
And then from there, you can just kind of fly all over the place, keep on sniping units. Welmu's also smart enough that he's going to be like, DTs could be scary, and he's getting an observer. Yeah, he had already started the robo, so he's on top of things. Without having scouted this, he's going to be getting ready for it. And then from there, I think he should be able to do very well.
Yep, gets the last Phoenix, gets the Mothership Core as well, and now this middle line is going to be very, very exposed, and there is a lot of energy on these Phoenixes, so many of these probes are going to die, if not pretty much all of them, Todd. I mean, that's a crazy amount of Graviton Beam that's available, and this is incredibly painful, and this is why it's so hard to transition out of Phoenix against Phoenix.
I love how Haas is like resilient. He's like, you know what, let me get Blink. A lot of gateways.
It's 25 dead probes, and there is still money left as well.
GG gets called, and Welmu brings it back. 2-1 for Taiwan.
I think a key move in this game, Todd, like, I think by the time that Haas went into the main base of Welmu, I think that was all right. And even at first Photon Overcharge, I think he should have stayed above that one pylon. Because Phoenixes, against other Phoenixes, they do extra damage, right? Because it's light. So one Photon Overcharge, yeah, that's a lot of DPS, but it has more impact in a Stalker battle, because Stalkers have low DPS, while Phoenixes have high DPS against other Phoenixes. I think he should have tried to stay on top of it. The moment he gave more time and any Impulse Crystals finished up, while he was going up to 3 Stargates, which is a weird decision. You don't see that super often, right?
Unless you want to commit, I guess. Like I said, knowing that the opponent's going for
just
range
dive
and
on
just
it, right?
move in there. But he went for it at first, but then pulled back, and he was in a world of trouble already. Who do we see come out? Is it going to be Rex or Nice? Actually, I like the map choice by Welmu a lot, because if you go into Vanny, it's very hard for the opponent to do something super tricky to kill you. Like I talked about that wall off, that you can go for that perfect wall, go for the Nexus, and be very safe. Guess what? He went for it, played solid, get the victory. So now, I guess maybe Nice comes out and tries his luck.
Yeah.
Because they will revive him anyway. Like, it doesn't really matter, right? Like, who goes out next? Like, both players anyway might have to. Like, you want
maybe
because
maybe Rex on Habitation or something. That's a dangerous map, I think. I don't think it's necessarily the best map for Zerg, but I think it's a dangerous map for Protoss.
On Daybreak, maybe better.
We'll see. Who is it going to be? The next player of Taiwan. They're currently leading 2-1, ruining all the predictions.
Nice.
It is going to be nice.
Nice.
As Taiwan is still leading 2-1. Obviously, this means that this is technically... This was the second game. I mean, it was the third game, but it's the second game. It gets a little bit complicated, but now we do head to our regular break. And after that, we'll be back. I believe I will be replaced by Zombie Grub. So I wish you guys a lot of fun. I'm a little bit jealous. I would like to cast more of this Protoss madness, but can't have it all in life, right?
Well, you already have it all. You're handsome, rich, and successful. So with this, we're going to head to the break. And then when we're back, actually, we're going to look at more tweets.
Oh, actually, no, we're not going to go to a break. So things have changed.
Continue.
All right, that means that I'm going to guess another game. I do like that. Got my setup and my body ready for hashtag NW4.
Is he coding at the same time?
That's a Russian hacker. I've seen it on CNN.
Don't let Donald Trump know.
Yeah, no, it's like it's a 200-pound guy and he's sitting in his basement. He's hacking. That's what he said.
200 pounds. I weigh 200 pounds.
250, I guess. Maybe 300.
Why are you hating?
The little brother of South Korea is not bad.
AKA Boogeyman. Is that the American Kickboxing Academy? I see like all those MMA references.
That would be great.
No, that I follow.
Watching. You know, a couple of them have watched some Starcraft in the past.
No.
Yeah, Nick Lance.
Oh yeah, a couple of MMA fighters.
Yeah, he's a big Starcraft fan. Yeah. And obviously Stipe Miocic wants to be added to the Protoss arsenal. That would be the greatest thing.
That's pretty sick. He'd be a Terran. We would need him for sure.
No, he's a zealot. He's going to be a zealot skin. That would be great. All right, so as soon as the next game is ready, we're going to hop on in. Once again, we do apologize for the lack of Serral, but hopefully Serral will have some time to get everything sorted out, because obviously, if Finland will still win this nation war, we want to see Finland full force going up against Germany, because that was an incredibly entertaining nation war yesterday. Our map right now is going to be Echo. That's a surprising pick, Todd, because Echo is a pretty decent map for Protoss.
Well.
Oh, actually, it's PvP.
Yeah,
Sorry, I thought it was PvZ for a split second. Never mind.
I was picturing a PvP, and I'm like, you know what? Echo. It's one of these great maps where you can add a lot of robos on the map or something like that. Obviously, Wellmo, like we said before, he's also one of the OGs in the European scene that knows how to gamble, take risks, play some of these crazy builds himself. So who knows? Like when a degenerate goes up against a sick gambler, then sometimes you get fireworks.
Sometimes you get Mark Wahlberg in a terrible movie. I don't know if you've seen it. Either way, we are loaded into Echo. Over here on the left top side, we're looking in the main base of our blue Finnish Protoss. It's not Mark Wahlberg, it's Wellmo. I do like Mark Wahlberg, by the way. He's great. One of my favorites.
And his opponents, playing as the red Protoss, is of course nice. Dude, I'm really rustled. I never tried Mark Wahlberg burger joints. In Canada, they got like a Waller burger or something. When we went to Toronto, there's one next to the stadium of the Blue Jays. I really wanted to try, but the line was so long, man.
I've tried many burgers in my life, Todd, but I haven't tried
not this one.
one.
You're no expert, you're no gourmet until you've tried a real Waller burger.
I've tried Whataburger. It's a little different, I guess. All right, double gate on both sides. And both simulators being taken as well. You know what I kind of expected as well? Maybe nice to go out even on a map like Habitation Station and try something stupid like the gas steal into proxy Stargate. That stuff is really annoying to deal with. If they steal one of your simulators and then they proxy an Oracle, I mean, that's a real Taiwanese build right there.
Well, I mean, that's also a North American build. By the way you talk about it, I can feel there's been a couple losses and some salt here and there.
Never
Maybe
salt.
even a Nathaniel's friends.
I don't think they work very well against Terran. So far, everything looks surprisingly normal. We're going to keep a close eye.
I meant the rents in his style.
We're going to keep a close eye on any probes leaving the main base over Taiwanese probes. Double Stalker, wow. He's got confidence, Todd. Could also be some 3-gate pressure. Stalkers, I think, are pretty good against Adepts on this map because I think it's kind of obvious where the Adepts will shade if they shade forward twice.
I'm pretty surprised to see this. Like, I always expect Nice to go guns blazing and go for the attack. So maybe we do see, a third gateway and some sort of aggression. We'll see.
I agree with you. If I would have had to make a prediction, I would have predicted Wellmo to be the Stalker player. But maybe Wellmo just feels like all he wants is some map presence to see what's going on the other side of the map and make sure that he's not going to be caught off guard. Because he's probably quite confident in this one, right? He probably looks at himself as the better player in the matchup, so he should be fine.
Oh, I love this, actually, splitting the two Stalkers to make sure he sees where those Adepts are coming from, and he's actually going to start the chase. Kind of hoping, I think, that Wellmo would shade forward, in which case those 2 extra Stalkers that Nice is getting right now would catch these guys eventually and snipe them.
Yeah, this is a super solid opening from Nice so far. Beautiful Stalker positioning, finds the Adepts, keeps tracks of them as well while still expanding at home. Followed up with Stalker number 3 and 4. I'd actually give a minor advantage, this is obviously not a big deal, but a very minor advantage to our Taiwanese Protoss. Just because he has the extra Stalkers, and eventually these Adepts, they will fall off a little bit.
Both players now going to sentries. That's going to be for some hallucination to go across the map with, and scouts, and a mirror build. Robo's going down as well.
The only thing that Wellmo could do is maybe eventually get another Adept and then pull a Showtime or a Neep, where they shade in, pick up the sentries and pick them up with the Warp Prism. Like, that would be sick. But in general, it's kind of hard. And we actually see both Adepts just died. Like I said, these Stalkers, they really have a lot of potential as soon as Stalkers number 3 and 4 are out. So now you could say the ball is in the corner of Nice, and he could perhaps start getting adventurous and see if he can find an opening. That's a very fast forge.
Yeah, instead of getting a Twilight Council that most players will get right now, interesting. Whereas Wellmo goes for the standard and traditional Twilight Council himself. And no forge for now.
What is he going to do with it? Just
+1 attack.
Very fast +1 attack?
Yeah.
But where is he going to take it from there?
I guess he goes into a later Twilight so that he can start +2 as well and gets Blink, or unless if he wants to play aggressive, like I said, when I played Nice on ladder, he was Adept, Immortals, and a pretty fast game, Roddy. So you never know with this guy.
Cool build order. It could really work out. Maybe he just feels very confident with the opening he has and the opening that Wellmu went for. It's incredibly unlikely that Wellmu is going to be able to make something happen. And having slightly faster blink, maybe he feels like it's just not going to do that much for him, and he much rather gets the upgrade advantage. And actually, I kind of like it. If I look at the production tab and I look at the numbers of this game, that's actually not a bad decision at all. It is going to get scouted though, and that's a tiny bit unfortunate. Wellmu probably a little bit confused now, and this may actually allow Wellmu to go for a nice timing attack with some extra gates, with a couple of immortals and sentries as well.
I wonder. Like the immortal count also will come into play, so they need to both make sure they keep on making these bad boys, because right now Wellmu's the only one with one, but Nice has started one. And I think Wellmu didn't get a second one on the way just yet. No, there it is. So he's actually one immortal ahead, and he's gonna get blink earlier.
Wow.
Resonating Blaze, I've warned you.
Alright.
He's a repeat offender.
So it's one of these, so we can probably see a nice little gateway explosion soon, even though he already has a couple. But I don't think in general you want to attack with 4 gateways. You want to have a few more than that. Okay, so he's going to skip. I mean, it's kind of funny, right? Because this is old school logic. And when I say old school, I mean like 4 or 5 months ago of PvP, where these attacks were... Stargate? Okay, this is where it gets weird. Why is he getting a Stargate, Todd?
I guess he saw Robo. Oh, he
Wait,
cancels.
he cancelled, and now he goes for charge.
So it's going to be Charge Lot and Phoenixes to deal with the Disruptors.
Yeah, left the Disruptors up and then try to swarm it on the ground.
Nice. It's quite sick actually. Like, you realize that Wellmu's playing fully standard, so he's going to try to do like a meta thing where it's like you need to be on point, right, against it. If Wellmu scouts a little bit too slowly, if you realize it's too late what's happening, if he overextends one time, he's going to be in trouble. He needs to fully realize, which, I mean, to be honest, you can't know what the opponent's researching in the Twilight, but he needs to keep an eye on the units, because obviously there's going to be Zealots being warped in. He needs to spot the Stargate, in which case, I think you get High Templars to feed back the Phoenixes, and then the Disruptors will still be useful, and then you start on getting more traditional gateway ground units instead of focusing on massing Disruptors against Phoenixes.
I agree, but I think the most important thing for Wellmu is that he just doesn't attack, right? Like, I think if he attacks with a small army, that's where he takes the risk of being swarmed, being surrounded, the Disruptors getting lifted. Yeah. But the longer he waits, the better this will get for Wellmu. He's going to get a second Robo.
I really don't think he's going to attack, but I think Nice will eventually, because his army will start losing power.
Right? Yeah. And then maybe a good SimCity, a couple of pylons being placed defensively for Wellmu.
He didn't see the Stargate yet. Like, he's kind of trying to look exactly what Nice going for.
Well,
and Wellmu's moving out, actually.
And that could actually be a very, very costly mistake. Yes, he does have a whole bunch of Blink Stalkers.
He's going to spot the Stargate.
He should really turn around.
Like, what in the hell?
Yep. And immediately he's like, oh, I made a mistake. I'm going back. Now Wellmu's getting his own forge, finally.
You sound like a cartoon when you do this.
Which one?
Where?
Well, I mean, this is what I imagine goes through Wellmu's little mind.
Roddy giggle. By the way, +2 against the Forge, not even finished yet. Yeah. Not bad upgrades.
No, exactly. That's why the build order was quite cool.
Where are those carriers at? Show me the transition.
He's going to get a Templar Archives as well. 4 extra gateways being added. Does he already have the assimilators up and running in the third base? He does, right? Yeah, fully running. He's going to be able to get quite a few Archons. This is going to be a pretty powerful attack, man.
One more Stargates. Like, I love how Wellmu is pumping out the double Disruptor, by the way, against the Phoenixes that he knows are there. He needs to go into High Templars here quickly, I think, behind this. There it is.
But I think as long as you don't have like 2 or 3 Disruptors, I think it's very fine, right? Because the Phoenixes, they have to commit. And you can lift one, and you can lift the second one. But if this next Disruptor shots, always, if this always will be ready, it becomes very hard to engage, I think, with Zealots and these Archons, because it's kind of a clumsy army composition. Like, it's obviously very powerful, but it needs to find its way. +3 already started. That's so sick.
It's super scary, actually, that there will be a moment during which Nice will have +3 against just the +1 Wellmu. And I think if he times his attack at this exact point, he might be very successful with an attack. But
I think upgrades are cute and nice, but I do think the most important thing for him, for Nice that is just going to be the engagement, right? Like, he needs good surface area for the Zealots. He needs to be able to swarm.
Maybe a Prism in the main to warp in a ton of Zealots to bring some of the army of Wellmu out of position would be great, but he hasn't made one just yet.
Wellmu has to be careful. I don't know how many Phoenixes are out, but I believe quite a few, right? And he could actually just... wow, with 8 Phoenixes? Imagine if he would have flown those 8 Phoenixes in. He would have lifted all these Stalkers. That's a very risky move by Wellmu.
Nice, really playing it safe though.
Yeah,
he goes for an attack, right? Like I can see him just like kind of camping. Like I think Nice loses very hard if Wellmo just maxes out.
Unless he goes carrier start. Not exactly.
I mean, there's big stalkers that will be upgraded later, but these disruptors, by the way, like shouldn't you stop? I guess at some point.
I think he just knows that the Phoenix count is very high. I think the more disruptors you have against a no disruptor army, I think it's always quite good, as long as you have an answer against the Phoenixes as well. So he should make sure that he does have plenty of anti-air. And like you said, these Phoenixes, they've got so much energy that if he has a couple of High Templars ready that he doesn't morph, he's going to be able to one-shot all these Phoenixes because they're maxed out on energy. I actually think, as silly as it sounds, it would be good use of APM right now for Nice to lift his own Immortals a couple of times and then drop it. Because you don't want to fly in with 200 energy Phoenix, because one feedback is immediately going to kill it, and that really hurts. A mothership! What? This man is crazy.
That's pretty sick, actually.
Oh my god.
Well, you know, when you have this many Phoenixes, if you have an observer with them, you can snipe your opponent's observer super easily. All you have to do is go forward, and then it just dies. So I guess with the cloak would be massive.
Oh my god, look at all the High Templar stuff. This is just a crazy battle. 4 shots connected with almost nothing other than one of his own Stalkers. But it's going to be hard for these Phoenixes to go in, because look at the amount of High Templars there are. Feedbacks will land. A couple of big Disruptor shots land as well. And a few more of them will shoot, but they don't really connect with anything. I have no idea what's happening in this battle, as it's so weird, but I actually think that it's going quite well for the Taiwanese Protoss.
Yeah, Wellmo was not supposed to attack there, but somehow he cleans up most of this army. The Phoenixes are going to be left over to pick up pretty much everything.
Well, no, actually, Wellmo in the end did alright, even though he did lose the majority of his Disruptors.
Wellmo is so funny. He's reinforcing from his left-hand side base. I guess he's the only one with the 4th base there. He's actually being broken through right now. I think he might have done it.
The Phoenix is so clumped up. I actually think with some good defensive weapons, Nice should be able to clean this up as well. He's waiting for the Mothership. He's got a lot of Zealots start. Swarm's one of the Archons. The only thing that's good, well, the Adepts are alright. Here is that Mothership. No Observer, I believe. I think Wellmo's going to lose a lot of these units. Could maybe go for a recall. Is that what he's going for? Yes, he does.
And now those Phoenixes are going to start flying, I think, all across the place to snipe probes. And Nice should be starting to work on a 4th base.
What a battle, Todd.
Yeah, and like I said, from there, I think Wellmo might have to, I don't know, maybe get some Oracle or something. Because like, it's so hard to have an Observer with your army that will not die in the fight. If those Phoenixes go forward and snipe it, like you literally just have to do attack move. And then they go forward, the Observer's with them. Wellmo's Observer dies, and then he cannot see the army that's cloaked under the Mothership.
I'm still in shock by that battle that we just saw. That was such a weird, unique battle.
It was very well managed, actually, by Wellmo. I think if he had had a War Prism with this and took his time a little bit more, he might have been able to end it there.
Yep. Instead of warping in, like you said, from the left side, just warp in like 8-10 Stalkers. And these 2 Archons, they got a couple of big hits off on all these Phoenixes.
Wellmo makes these battles actually super chaotic. Like the way he kind of rushed in there.
With 4 shots immediately.
Yeah, probably surprised Nice. He was like, oh my god, is this really happening? Like, you know, all the Disruptors, they're clumped up in the middle of the army. It's actually really hard to click on all of them to make sure you don't miss 1 or 2, which is kind of what happens. And then when they were dropped again, used the Purification Nova immediately, blew up these Immortals.
Carriers could be very, very powerful though. I mean, they don't have any upgrades, so it's going to be hard. I think it's going to be hard for Nice to really get up to a nice carrier count. Like 2 carriers are not going to change the outcome of this game. 5 carriers, as soon as you get +1, then I truly start believing in it. And obviously the ultimate dream for Nice is to get carriers and Disruptors. He doesn't need many, just needs a couple.
Oh, this is sick.
He needs to chrono boost the other target as well. If you don't chrono boost carriers, they literally pop in your next ladder game. That's how long it takes.
Like you queue an Overwatch game and like you see interceptors in the building, you're like, what is going on? Really? Took this long?
Like, oh my god, Farah is shooting interceptors right now. Justice! Range from above! Pew 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 pew! It's like, cool, my carrier has arrived. It's a dream, Todd. Well, we're actually using these adapts to distract Nice.
No, well, no.
He's so trigger happy, by the way.
Yeah, he's so sick.
He gets a couple of probes, that's nice, but it's a risky move.
Can you imagine if like Wellmo got a water pistol? I wouldn't like to be around, man.
Super Shocker, 500 with 2 tubes. Very powerful beam.
How do you know about this?
Well, I was a little boy and I played with water pistols. Alright, so 2 carriers are out. I would really love to see +1 air weapons, by the way. I think it makes a massive difference. And even for the Phoenixes, it would be very useful. 2 carriers is nice, though. And this Mothership obviously represents a lot of HP as well. He does have a crazy amount of energy. A feedback wouldn't hurt for Wellmo at all. I think Welmo's getting a little bit confused. He's going to tag the army with Revelation. How high is the Stalker count? It's quite high, but is it high enough?
He still can't reinforce nearby. Nice, he's going to basically fly right in there with his ground army. He's still doing a lot. Picks up all of these disruptors. They're all dying right now. That means he might be able to clean up on the ground thanks to the Zealots and Archons. Welmo overextended big time this time around, and Nice is going to punish him for it.
Yep, I think we're almost in a lot of trouble right now. I don't think he can recall out of it this time, as the Mothership Core is going to snipe as well. He blinks forward, but the Phoenix is doing a really good job in trapping a couple of these Stalkers, and the DPS just isn't there anymore for the Finnish Protoss. And don't forget that carrier number 3 and 4 are ready to pop as well. Taiwan, Todd. It's just going crazy over here.
Yeah, Welmo overextending this time around. He tried to kind of run in there, but Nice was ready. Thanks to that mothership as well. Like, this is such a great tool to have. Welmo probably felt like he just couldn't catch up, right, on the fleet beacon and mothership tech. So he was like, I have to try something drastic. I have to attack before. And now he's down to 16 army supply against 94. You don't even need to look at the supply here.
What a sick game. 9 more Stalkers being wiped in. I mean, maybe Welmo can dance around a little bit back and forth, but this is an army I really don't think he can fight. With 5 Archons there as well, these Phoenixes are super annoying because they can always pick off a Stalker or 2. And Welmo's just backed in the corner right now, Todd. He's on the ropes and I see no way out.
I love how the Observer looked at the vision as well. He's like, let us feel the pain through the eyes of Welmo. GG is called, and Nice puts Taiwan even further in the leads with a 3-1.
Yeah.
So sick. And now I guess they have to revive Welmo if Cyril's not available here, those Finlands.
Wow, what a game, Todd. Honestly, like, heads off to Nice. That was a really sick build. The early Forge, trying to go for some sort of a timing. He changed his mind, went Resonating Glaze first, changed it into Charge. He was in a lot of trouble, but in the end, he did kind of defend it.
Yeah.
And it felt like, was that good enough? Well, it was. As soon as he resecured that base, and as soon as the carriers were out, and he still had those Immortals on the ground, the next fight, it was pure gateway units against a lot of Archons, a couple of Immortals. The Disruptors did not connect with anything at all because the Phoenixes were still there. That was a beautiful game by the Taiwanese Protoss.
Very nicely done for sure here. We're going to head to a break, and then when we come back...
Reveal.
Oh, I don't know why. Everything's off. Guys, tell me more stuff.
No, we're going to reveal the final
player. And then we're going to go to a break.
And I'm actually very curious because obviously we want to know if Saro is back in action or not. We don't know that. Maybe you guys at home already know because you guys have Twitter access and, you know, we are professionals, so we don't look at Twitter during our games. Ay, ay, ay. Let's take a look. Who's going to be the final player of Finland? Is it going to be Welmo, who definitely seems like he would have one hell of a battle over mountain to climb, one hell of a battle ahead of him, or is it going to be Cyril? Have the internet issues been fixed for our Finnish Zerg? Who's going to be Welmo?
All right, rematch against Nice.
It's gonna be hard, man. I'm really quite worried for Finland.
It feels like he was playing solid from the start, but it's like I said, at PvP you can keep scouting the entire game, and then you miss one thing and you're in trouble. Even that timing, to be honest, the way he hit that timing.
The first one or the second one?
Yeah, no, the first one. I think he was right, like because the mothership wasn't ready yet, and he got right in there, blew up all the Immortals. I really think that what he was
War
missing,
Prism,
a War Prism to reinforce. Where was it? Like that's how you finish games or not. And in this case, it was the latter because he just didn't have the reinforcements nearby.
He has one more life. We thought that this was going to be a one-sided affair, but so far it's not at all. As Taiwan has taken a 3-2 lead, correct?
3-1.
3-1 lead. Wow, man, I'm even losing it as well because I was like 3-1 lead over Finland. Can Welmo win 3 games in a row? Well, we're about to find out. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to Starcraft 2 Nation Wars Season 4, brought to you by O Gaming and Blizzard. I know that I announced that I would be swapping out, but then Johan Merlo had to, I don't know, he had to run, be somewhere. So it's going to be you and me. Jess, how are you? How was the journey? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Happy Christmas, everything, I suppose. The journey was long. And
3 transfers, I heard, 2, 3?
Yes, 3 transfers. Correct. What am I going to do for esports, exactly.
What did you think about the game so far?
Oh my god! And you're gonna ask me that. I'm like, I'm not even sure where to start. Like these games, I guess they own up to what we expect from Taiwan. But that last game, especially when he started making carriers, I was like, no, and then it worked.
Yeah, I was actually very impressed. I mean, that first game, Haas against Zhuge had obviously Haas written all over it. It was cannons, and then he followed it up. Very well done. But I was like, okay, that's kind of stuff that we expected. But that last game, that was a really good PvP build. You know, just the way that he adjusted to things that he saw as well, the execution, the hold. Just genuinely impressed.
Yeah, like that call on that fight, you know, like no one could have called that. Like I was surprised you even tried.
Yeah, I was like
there's like too many Phoenix. I can't see what's underneath.
There's too much blue. There's too many bubbles. Archons is like, okay, I think he's all right. Well, he's actually kind of losing, but no, he's still all right. And now he's going to mothership. Yeah, what a game.
Yeah, Whirlwind though. I mean, we're back to another. I mean, the same PvP, I suppose, right? Like one was back coming out, and I don't know, like. The size of the map, maybe we'll see carriers again.
Yeah, I think this is a good, decent Phoenix map, but also not a bad Blink Stalker map. And I think if Wellmo just wants to play it safe, obviously he's probably going to be a little bit paranoid. I'm sure that he did not expect to drop the game on Echo, but now at least he knows that he has to take Nice very, very seriously. And also just make sure that he knows exactly what is going on.
Well, this could be the final game in the top left on Whirlwind. As the red Protoss, he is Nice.
We're, of course, still in Group Germany. That has been won by the Netherlands. Feels good to say. And, of course, the winner of this Nation War will go up against Germany. And that's going to be the last match of this group. And they, over here on the right top side, can he bring it back for Finland? They're down 3-1. He needs to win 3 maps in a row. It is Wellmo.
Pretty unfortunate if Wellmo actually ends up taking a loss here, like Taiwan going on, not only for our caster predictions, but also just in general. Like, I was thinking, like, Cyril, you know, whatever has happened to his internet, he must be just like, you have faith in Wellmo, ideally, right? And I guess some faith in the backup player as well, which is Fuser, I believe. Yeah, but still, like, he's, you know, definitely the guy that performed yesterday, and it's just, like, still, like, one loss, no matter what he tried to do, is still going to take that default loss. It just must feel, I mean, it's more than just you. It's your team and it's your nation. I don't want to feel like he does right now.
Can only imagine. It's just so frustrating. There's almost nothing more frustrating anyway than in a day and age where you're so used to everything working properly, then on the moment you need it the most, when you really want to play and when you know that there's going to be a lot of people watching and then your internet suddenly starts acting up, it's just super frustrating. And like you said, it's more than just a national or just a little competition for himself, representing the nation as well. But perhaps there is nothing to worry about. Maybe Cyril's internet will be fine in 30-40 minutes, and maybe by then Wellmo has all killed Taiwan. We know that he's capable of it.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, we were discussing it backstage, and just, you know, can Wellmo do it? And it's like this 90% confidence thing, maybe a little bit less now after that last game, but that, yeah, well, Wellmo is a good, solid guy. I know that he can still be tripped up, and then Nice actually got him in this macro game. It was still like almost like a trickster macro game, but it wasn't like a cannon rush or like a proxy oracle.
I feel right now we need some memes where Wellmo is like Neo from the Matrix, and he has to dodge a lot of bullets because he has to win 3 games in a row against Nice, maybe Rex, well, definitely Rex as well. And then perhaps Haas or Nice again.
Yeah, exactly. That is going to be dodging a lot of Oracle-shaped bullets, I suppose. Well, we have Stalkers going across the map, but actually Adepts going across the map. The Stalkers just looking for them, finds them, and unfortunately can't really chase them that well.
There's Gateway number 3 being wiped in the main, and that's kind of surprising. Wellmo's going to let the Shade finish up. I think that's an excellent decision. He's going to see all these Stalkers. He's going to Shade out. He sees a Mothership Core as well. Can he see that extra Gateway? He doesn't. And there is a pylon on the right side, by the way, below the natural of Wellmo. And that's going to be a Stargate. Wow, this is a build that we've seen at BlizzCon as well. This would be a massive scout for Wellmo.
Oh, so good. Wellmo, of course, knows something's up. Immediately has the Stalker already. I mean, I think he was already searching for something. But second pylon comes down as the probe is still available. So it should finish. And I guess his Adept's going to try and take care of it here. But, yeah, okay. So after a super long macro game with carriers, Nice is going to change it up and go for the 1 base.
It's still a hard hold. Wellmo's going to get a defensive robo. I think the best thing that Wellmo can do is stay on 1 mineral line. Like, even though he has that second Nexus, you can obviously use it for Chrono Boost, but I think the most important thing that you want to do is, as long as he knows that his opponent is still on 1 base, he shouldn't try to get too many workers out and should not try to defend both mineral lines at once. Just hold the natural, and then eventually you can start focusing on your own economy.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, so much is dedicated to this. It looks like he still has Adepts across the field, though. I'm not sure there's much to defend. Oh, this is a risky move by Wellmo. 4 Stalkers. Looks like one of them might actually just take a bit of damage. Not too bad.
He's just gonna shoot this pylon down, I think. One Stalker will fall, but that's actually the only pylon that was here. Why did he only have a single pylon? Now this mothership core is gonna get shot down as well. Wellmo!
I don't know. I don't think Wellmo was expecting him to attack without the Void Ray, which would have given him a couple more seconds. But still, yeah, lack of a second pylon might just hurt him a lot here. The Mothership Core's back at home for Nice as well as the Adepts. Well, sound like a great idea. Only get 2 probes. That's not enough.
Yep, there's an Immortal out right now, and there's a potential for Guardian Shield too. 1 Stalker. That's only 4 Stalkers doing. That's not enough anti-air. I think he needs a few more. So now Wellmo's gonna end up losing at least 1 more. I won't say Stalker, but they said the Immortal's being focused.
Yeah, that actually might have been a great move by Nice, but maybe not. I mean, that was a lot on a barrier. I mean, it could have been a couple more Stalkers. It could have been the Stalkers and then the Immortal if Wellmo couldn't really warp in as much anti-air as he would wanted. But Nice, I mean, it looked promising when he took on that pylon so quickly, but he is being pushed back by Wellmo still.
Yep, now Mothership Core is being rebuilt by Wellmo. Interesting decision, by the way, to spend 100 gas right now on a Mothership Core when he doesn't have any pylons on the low ground. I feel him making a Mothership Core is almost him giving up this Nexus. Now there is no Immortal, and Stalkers actually have way more micro potential than Sentries and Adepts. 1 more Force Field is not, I won't say available. Good focus fire there by Wellmo.
I totally agree with you, actually. That Mothership Core felt like he was saying, I guess I can't defend my natural, but he still was able to defend it. So taking a better survey of the situation, I suppose, we gave him credit for. Actually looking quite nice.
Pylons, yeah. Just get pylons. I mean, if he has... Did he cancel the Mothership Core? No, right? He's still... Maybe he's worried about an Oracle, which is indeed the unit that's on the way.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense.
His Adepts did die in that main base without getting too much of a scout, so...
Yeah, it makes sense. I think Wellmo was just thinking ahead of the situation, and he was correct. He's like, okay, I can defend the natural, perhaps, but I'm not going to be able to defend my main base against an Oracle, and I would have to put too many Stalkers there. So I will need a Photon Overcharge. He used it immediately. However, the Oracle gets out of range. He should still be able to get a couple of workers. I think if Nice can get 2 or 3 workers, it would be good, but he only got 1.
Yeah, and Nice did try and expand, by the way, which is something that Dips couldn't be able to scout. But I don't know if he can actually hold on. Don't like the lag, but the Immortal is really going to, I mean, add a lot. Of course, the Sentry is going to regain energy, Force Fields, Guardian Shield. I mean, Wellmo maybe doesn't push out right now, still a little bit fearful of these Oracles, and this Oracle is going to go for that natural, but not too many probes to kill.
Yeah, I don't think there's too much energy on that Mothership Core either. Now both Oracles show up, and a couple of that probes, that's going to actually give Nice a work advantage for the first time in this game. I want to say kudos to Wellmo, though, having that much pressure on your shoulders and still being able to defend this all in. While it started off pretty dicey, only having that single pylon on the ramp, very well done.
Yeah, exactly. I looked actually pretty promising for Nice in the beginning, but this Oracle harassment ends up working quite well. I love that the first Oracle came back and actually helped get a lot of those probes, so 7 or 9 in total throughout the game, I suppose. Now, Nice still doesn't have a very good army. He's trying to get to his Robo and his Twilight Council, but Wellmo, you know, if he just wants to defend, then it's not a problem for Nice. Well, by that time.
A Prism, which makes me wonder if he wants to go... But the moment he goes super aggressive, he cannot defend both mineral lines at once. Yeah. So then he's basically putting himself all in. Yes, he does have Immortals, but there are pylons. Okay, it's going to be an Immortal drop. Interesting.
I don't know if I would have... Like, maybe an attack would have been still okay. Like, 2 Stalkers in the mineral line won't stop the Oracles from killing probes, but maybe you'll get that first one that's already low HP. Might have been worth going for the attack. He is 13 supply ahead, but just the Immortal harassment.
I wonder if... Nice picks up on the fact that something is missing there as he just tagged the entire army and the Immortal suddenly disappeared, but that's not something I think he would be thinking about immediately. Immortal harass could actually be very promising here, because obviously there is no Blink, there is no Stargate. I mean, there will be Photon Overcharge, but...
Yeah, well, there would be.
There's supposed to be a Photon Overcharge.
Yeah, there we go. He had enough energy for sure for both of them. But unfortunately, being so late on it, he loses both pylons. A third pylon goes down. Everything's depowered. A couple of probes in the natural also went down. And Wellmo's continuing to warp in with the Warp Prism.
Wow, that's actually very nice. And this warp-in was incredibly late. Now the Mothership Core is taking a lot of damage. Imagine if Wellmo can get the Twilight here. Did he just kill the Robo?
He did just kill the Robo. And the Mothership Core is going to go down to like a... Okay, there was 2 Stalkers, but still, that wasn't supposed to happen. Resident Englaves not going to be able to finish. He just lost 2 tech structures.
That's amazing by Wellmo. Well done. What a very, very successful drop there.
Yeah, it definitely was. His own Mothership Core, as long as it's paying attention, too many probes should not go down. It is paying attention. Both are popped and both Oracles get killed.
I think the pressure is getting too nice. I really feel like he's crumbling here a little bit. 4 or 5 Stalkers. I don't know how much HP there is on these Immortals. I don't think the Stalkers can win this battle. They're going to push the Prism away, but it will also mean that these Stalkers die and Wellmo just wins like that. Man, that was so well done.
It was well done.
Yeah.
It was kind of a bit of a flash, too. I mean, 2 tech structures, 3 pylons, and then the mothership core, of course, going down as well. I mean, up until then, Nice was starting to really bridge the supply gap, you know, and he had that tag to Chrono Boost, then suddenly it was gone.
I think that's one of these moments that I think we've all been in as a StarCraft player, where you're going up against somebody that you didn't necessarily think you were going to win this game, and then suddenly you're like, I'm playing well, and then the Oracle started picking off workers left and right, and he distracted Whelmu, and he's like, I'm playing really well right now. Like, I've got an expand. I think I'm going to win this. I think it's going to happen, and then suddenly it all just falls apart, where you get caught off guard or distracted by an adept, and drop shows up, and then suddenly this drop does so much more. If he would have dropped double photon overcharge the very first time on those 2 pylons, there's absolutely no problem at all. Like, these Immortals are not going to fight double photon overcharge.
That would have been quite the risk for Whelmu to take, for sure. So it definitely could have been different. Of course, the last player for Taiwan is Rex. Just why it was so easy to get him in.
I'm kind of happy for Whelmu. I'm happy that we get to see more games. And I also think it would have been a very sad story to see Finland go out like that.
Yeah.
And now, you know, there is still a chance. And Whelmu, like I said, I mean, he's going to be Neo of the Matrix here. He's dodging bullets, and he dodged a couple of them already. That was I'm actually incredibly impressed by both. I think that Nice played, or Nice. I don't know why I keep saying Nice, because we're in France, I guess.
I saw all of that yesterday, and I was like, is that actually supposed to be called? Like, I make sure to pay attention.
Yeah, there's a city somewhere in the south of here. But anyway, it's just a French thing. We're in Paris right now, guys. But I thought he played incredibly solid early on. He had a couple of good decisions, and I love the follow-up with the Oracles. I love Whelmu thinking ahead of this situation, realizing that, yeah, I can make an Immortal now, but I actually need a Mothership Core. And I was like, why is he getting an MS Core now? But that was such a good call. Because if he loses 6 workers in his main, I think the game is over immediately.
It's very different.
Just a lot of excellent decisions, I think, with a lot on the line. You know, tournament live on the line for Finland, star player disconnecting. Yeah, I'm incredibly impressed.
Yeah, I agreed. Like, I was impressed by both players. I'm very I like that classic move to like go for like the super macro game and then be like, nope, not that again, and go for like a cheese. But of course, Nice already had that reputation around him to go for cheeses anyways. So Whelmu, of course, on top of things, scouting made a lot of sense. Habitation Station for this upcoming PVZ now.
That's actually something we were talking about before on the desk, Johan and I, that is, where I think Habitation Station, I don't think it's necessarily a great map for Zerg against Protoss, but I do think it's a very dangerous map for Protoss, so, like, especially the early Roach Ravager rushes or a couple of links being dropped in the main. This is not a map where you want to go up to 42 workers before you build a Mothership Core, because there are too many all-ins that can be very, very powerful.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, you're facing a team that is known for their cheese. So, on the top right, still fighting strong, it is the blue Protoss, Whelmu.
Definitely showed us that he can perform under pressure in that previous game. It wasn't easy, but he was able to survive. Can the team captain perhaps close it out for Taiwan? He's the only Zerg. It is Rex.
I don't know too much about Rex. Saw the games yesterday. Didn't really take much away from that, to be honest. You know, one game doesn't say much, but it's a possibility. And he does have, I guess, his team, of course, you know, telling him what he should do. I would guess so. A cheese, as you were talking about, like, it's kind of dangerous to have this station. I mean, not just like. What's so funny about watching these players in particular is they bring back a lot of old cheeses, you know, not just the new Legacy of the Void one. So it would be funny to see like a Baneling bust or like a Ravager bust. But I'm thinking more, of course, of those Ling drops. I mean, they took out Neeb earlier in the, well, I guess last year. There's that joke coming back. But and they can actually definitely work. But is Rex the type of player? Is he actually going to listen to his cheesier teammates and go for it?
Yeah, yesterday against Utermo, he definitely showed us. He's like, no, I just want a macro, guys. And it wasn't bad, but it was just not good enough. Like, you could clearly see that Utermo was the more experienced player, and he was able to exploit the openings that he found. And it's just one of these games where someone is hanging in there, but he's falling further and further behind with every exchange that happened. And I do think that overall Whelmu is probably the more solid player across the board. So I wouldn't mind seeing Rex roll the dice here and do something crazy, like you said, a Baneling bust from my part, or Ling drop. And this is also a very good map, by the way, for straight up, where you just macro a little bit early on, and then you go for the double Bane drop. It's very popular. If the opening is not 1-gate Stargate, which it's not, it's 1-gate Twilight, then I think the double Overlord Baneling drop is incredibly good on this map and really hard to deal with as Protoss.
But not to say that Rex can only ever choose to win this game, and we don't know a lot about him and his record versus Protoss. I mean, ZVT, first of all, different matchup, right? But then ZVU Thermal, when Thermal is playing like the way he is also very different. Where Wellmu, definitely he's solid, don't think he's like this on fire, and he's not even the star player, right? Cyril was the star player from his performance yesterday, and he's, of course, not here right now. So I could actually see Wellmu maybe faltering positional engagements versus a Zerg.
The first Adept is actually finding a very exposed mineral line, already forcing these drones to be pulled, not mining. One drone will fall, the other drone is not going to fall. That was not necessary anymore, as the Adept already left. So Resonating Glaives is the opening. I think, obviously, I'm a big fan of this opening in general. It's a little bit outdated. This used to be the standard before the Adepts lost their eyes. There's that Baneling Nest, by the way, so we're going to keep a close eye on a potential Evolution Chamber later as well. And I think that's an excellent, like build order-wise, you know, I'm very familiar with this. I love the opening from Wellmo, but I have struggled a lot against the double Bane drop. I think it's very powerful if you open up like this as a Protoss. So we'll see.
Yeah, a little unfortunate the probe didn't get to see the timing on that Baneling Nest, which it definitely had room to do so. Also unfortunate the Overload's going to sacrifice itself here, which apparently could have gotten out without much trouble, but it does see the build here in the main base. And the Roach weren't. Okay, so this is what I was going to start talking about. Like, a Baneling Nest is great if the Adepts are all clumped up, if it's... I kind of blame, honestly, the Protoss more so when the Banelings are really super effective. I think that a Ling-Roach combo is actually a lot better.
But it is a lot harder in this day and age, because you shade forward and you're like, oh, that's good,
that's
it's
true.
exposed. And then suddenly it's like, surprise, here are 4 Banes. So in the old days, I definitely agree with you. I think it was not impossible. It was very, very hard for a Zerg to always have the Lings and Banes in the right position. But right now, these Adepts, the shades, they really don't see much at all. So Wellmo's going to be careful.
You would bring that up. I saw that pretty infamous Twitch clip. You shading right into like 50 Banelings.
That happened more than once. If they would have clipped that every single time, I'd be on the front page Reddit over and over again. Because it's hard. But Wellmo is actually quite smart. He doesn't just shade into the darkness. He could have let that finish up and that would have been successful, but he couldn't know.
Yeah, I don't know if he really saw just how many Banelings were available. That could have been the 4 that he saw, or also could have been like 16 behind it. So I think that was the wiser move. I mean, Rex, to his credit, didn't... Okay, well, I was going to say, didn't actually make Roaches because he didn't really seem to have to. Wellmo is getting a 3rd base, but... just made another ton of Lings. They are going to chase after the Adept. There's only so few of them, so a surround here could have been very effective.
Yep, good split actually by Wellmo. Is he going to let it finish? Yes, he will let it finish. The combination of all those Lings and Banes was just a little too scary. That's a lot of Roaches. I feel that's way more than just a couple of defensive Roaches. So this gives us the idea that Rex wants to go for a massive Roach, Ling, Bane attack. Maybe gets a couple of Ravages, maybe not. He's very low on gas, so I highly doubt it. But he is mining of multiple Extractors. And this is not an easy hold for Wellmo at all. Wellmo needs to sniff this one out. He sees a couple of the Roaches, but he also sees a lot of drones here, so I still think that's a little deceiving.
Yeah, I agree. It's actually a really cool move by Rex. Unfortunately, he doesn't actually clean up all those Adepts, so a couple more drones go down, and they did get into the main base as well. How many Roaches exactly did he see? He still sees the Lings that are already made. I'm not sure he saw as many Roaches as he would need to.
I don't think he knows yet.
Yeah.
He's going to find it out real soon, and this is going to be another incredibly hard hold for Wellmo. I mean, like we said, he's going to have to dodge a lot of bullets here. It's doable, but these sentries are very exposed, and if the sentries die, good force fields by Wellmo.
Yeah, that was actually really close right there, but now they're out of force field, so pulling back. Rex still has a couple of Adepts that still aren't being cleaned up, but does his army just make it not matter? He goes into the natural as well. The Motion Core is out of votes and overcharge.
Yep, and that one pylon is actually going to fall quite fast. It didn't really do that much damage. The sentries, he has to move the sentries, and he does. He brings the Warp Prism back. That's nice. That's going to give him some micro potential with his army. 54 army supply against 22. Wellmo needs to have the performance of his life here to not die against all these Roaches and Ravages. He can lose roughly 15-20 workers and still be in this game, but he needs to just, I mean, somehow not die. He does have cannons to fall back on, and that's very nice.
Yeah, he did start building them while also defending, and that was nice, but I just think that I think that the Ling flood might just be too much. The Immortal is caught, well, apparently still alive. There we go, it finally dies. The Warp Prism by the time that come pick it up, as Rex was focusing the Robo. Still not a bad idea to get that, but there's the Link that I was talking about. I'm not sure that's something that Wellmo can deal with.
Yeah, one of the gateways unpowered as well, and obviously the wall is down. Wellmo's getting a Dark Shrine during all of this. He needs the absolute sickest godlike Warp Prism micro of all time. Can he get another Photon Overcharge tune? I wish he had just one cannon here, like one cannon. And I also think a couple of Zealots would be very useful. I think Zealots perhaps a little bit better here than adepts. He's still microing with these Immortals. This one is still not over. That Immortal is probably going to fall. Wellmo's going to try to get very fancy here and micro all the Immortals at once. And he's doing it. Actually, really sick place. Well, one Immortal does finally fall, but that was very cool. Can he hold?
If this was just roaches, this would have been an amazing hold with 3 Immortals being microed like that. But the Lings keep chomping away at them, and the Lings are still coming as well. If he can hold in the main base, can 3 Nexus actually bring him back from 23 probes?
Well, definitely not if the Immortals die. Now, all of the gateways are unpowered as well, and there is nothing here. But he does have that Dark Shrine. The layer is only started just now. How much gas is there in the bank? Actually, I would say send 2 Dark Templars across the map immediately and then warp in 1 at home. Because the main is dead anyway, right?
Yeah, I guess he hasn't seen that Dark Shrine. He didn't really bother with the third base
there
ever
go
again.
the spores.
Oh, never mind. Okay, the Spore Crawlers come down. He didn't, but I guess he was thinking, okay, how can the Protoss ever come back? And that would have been a Dark Shrine. Finally getting to that third base and confirm it. Now the DTs, I thought, actually they're sent across the map. No.
What are the kills in the Immortals?
I don't know, probably something super impressive.
Oh my god.
And 11. Okay, that one's not as impressive, but that was still some sick micro to hold that main base for as long as he did. Still lost the Nexus, still lost all the pylons for his production, and no more gas either, so it is just going to be like Zealots from now on.
And there is a Spore and a Spine here, and there are a couple of Lings defensively as well. The Spores were just in time. Rex was asking himself the question that every StarCraft player should ask himself: if you're this far ahead, what can I still lose to? Well, he thought Dark Templars, and he was right. Oh my god, poor Finland, poor Wellmo.
Yeah, that actually will just be it for Finland, won't it? I mean, Wellmo, it's just so unfortunate he scouted it so late. He was building probes right up until that moment he saw with the single probe the incoming attack, and it just, he had so many sentries, he had, an Immortal, but they were out of position a little bit. The force fields only could last so long with 1 apiece for the sentry, and it was a fun little micro battle, but...
Is he repowering the main? Spire.
Yeah, I guess so.
He is repowering the main, but yeah, 41 drones against 22. It's going to be one hell of a challenge, and now actually the Lynx can obviously just run into the main again, and the Spire is probably going to be the nail in the coffin, as there's just no end here. There's nothing.
I think that the Spire is generally a pretty good nail in the coffin maneuver, as you try and bust the third base right now with its Sim City, and I suppose maybe that looks a little bit too dangerous with just Roach Ling, but Spire won't have a problem. This army, Wemu taking on this army was always going to be just, a bad trade for him no matter what, but of course loses all his Lings. Still can't really effectively deal with the amount of Lings here, and Adept Warpins are just, they're just going to be lost one at a time. DT works, I suppose.
It was such a great effort by Wellmo. There was this one Immortal that popped that actually was eating a lot of damage immediately. I just wonder if that one would have had a little more HP. Maybe he was able to keep all 3 alive, and then the shields can regenerate a little bit faster. And I also think a couple of the defensive weapons, they seemed a little reckless on the fly, right? They were very exposed. They just got, the Adepts got surrounded immediately. While maybe if he wipes in defensively at the mineral line, just one cannon in the main, and perhaps the Dream would have been alive.
It's one of those things where so many things went against Wellmu, the lack of scouting, the gateways were already down, but also that he wasn't able to mentally prepare. Because I think if you're mentally prepared for the all-in, you don't make those warping mistakes. But there goes the last heroic Immortals. The Overseer, there it is, coming over to take care of that 1 DT and 1 Archon. That is quite the job to do, but with the Warp Prism, I suppose anything is possible. It's going to try real hard, but there goes the cannon defense, and this is going to be it for Finland.
GG!
Taiwan, please. No one predicted this. Of course, no one predicted Cyril losing or disconnecting, but still, no one predicted this.
Wow. It's obviously, it is a result that has a story behind it, but it's still impressive nevertheless. Obviously, I want to say Thailand. Ever since Fonka said Thailand, since the introduction, keep saying Thailand. Taiwan can do absolutely nothing about it. They just did, their best, and they did what they could possibly do. And they managed to close this one out 4-2. Defeating Wellmu twice is still incredibly impressive. And let's not forget about the victory that Haas had over Zhuge as well. We had no idea how impactful that one was going to be.
Yeah, actually, Cyril probably feels pretty terrible right now. Wellmu, of course, trying his best, but unable to do it. But Zhuge also, he made a tweet after the cannon rush and just said, I shouldn't even, this is something I have prepared for and I was ready for, and he still lost it. That just... that unfortunately kind of set the tone, and it's very unfortunate. Big upset, but congratulations to Taiwan. Well, not quite yet, but good job moving on, and now face Germany.
Well, I don't think that Germany expected this one. They've all probably been practicing a lot of PVZ, or at least Showtime, that is. So it's going to be hard, I guess, for Rex to make something like this happen again, but I don't think they expected all these processes at all. I mean, they were probably mostly worrying about Saro and to some degree Welmo.
Right.
But who could have ever predicted that Taiwan was going to advance over here?
I don't think anyone. And like Germany, I mean, Germany was probably, I would say, hoping that Welmo could have, like, you know, done the all kill because they would not have to worry about Cyril, and they wouldn't have to worry about the, I guess, upset potential that is Taiwan. But now maybe they could be a little bit worried about the amount of cheeses Taiwan has. I don't know though. Like Showtime, such a solid player. Here, Marine, TLO too. They've all played against these guys once upon a time. So this might still be easy in their eyes.
This is definitely a David versus Goliath story. No matter how you look at it, Germany is still the overwhelming favorite. But if there's ever been a true wild card in Nation Wars, then it's obviously Taiwan, because they apparently can't just only cheese. Nice actually had a really good macro game on Echo against Welmung. Like that was a super impressive heads-off performance victory to him. Then Rex in the end here getting that victory on Habitation. I mean, if you go back at it, like I think Habitation is always a dangerous map, right? For attacks like this, whether they arrive earlier or a little bit later. And like the one gate into Twilight, Resonating Glaives, like it's good, but at the same time it can be a little bit risky. And I think a lot of Protoss at home would just be like, why didn't he just go one gate Stargate? You know, that's so safe, and you can't die against anything. And then you get 2 extra gates and you take it from there. But
exactly, you get that scout off and all those extra roaches being built. I mean, there was still a potential for the Adepts to do that as well, but they like kind of borderline missed it. You know, there's one in the third, one in the main, and combined they did not see the amount of roaches coming out.
And it was so unfortunate because when he finally shaded in and he's like, you know, these Adepts, I can sacrifice them and just kill a couple of Adepts and it will be worth it. It looked so quote-unquote normal. The couple of defensive Banes to deal with the Adept. The one lonely roach popped. Like, but this was a fully saturated mineral line. Well, if he would have gone to the natural a little earlier, he sees like, oh my god, there's nothing there.
That was another really cool move. Like, you know, just to give more credit to Rex, not make him just look like a cheeser, right? He even had that spine crawler in the main, which I thought was pretty cool because you didn't have to worry about the natural that had no drones, but there's potential the Adepts counterattacked in the main base. Well, that was no longer a problem with that spine crawler. Then it helped versus the DT. It was a nice move.
So I also have to eat my words because I kept making fun of the Twitter universe with hashtag TWNWin. Well, you guys were right. We've lost. You guys won. This time Twitter universe did know it better than us. Keep the tweets coming, of course. Let us know how you're watching Nation Wars Season 4. Hashtag NW4. We've got a few more tweets. What is he eating? What is he eating? What is that? Is it pasta?
It's like fries. Actually, if it had cheese on it, maybe it's like poutine.
Yeah, that's what I actually thought at first. It's in Germany, so maybe it's how do they call it? Pommes, Dönes Pommes, Dönes, something like that.
Talking about European words, I do not know.
Preparing for Germany against Taiwan. Yep, the upset was real. That's very good that he has his German flag as well under the TV.
It's passion. It's pride. Well, I think that's going to take us into the break as we get set up for the next series. It's going to be Taiwan, something that no one expected, versus the Titan that is Germany. Thanks for watching, guys, and stay tuned.